Hello. I am sorry, but I must
31
interrupt this
Grammy.
show.
Later, you know what it is. Hey, ham solo. It's time, baby. Low. Let's turn how we do. Hey.
They said we said we in. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said we gone. We say that you heard right. 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 They said we said we in. They said we said we on. They said we said strong. They said we said gone. We say that you heard right. 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 Man, I swear that it's imminent. I've been going so hard on my penmanship. About to go in and buy me a whip. And I pull that shit fresh off the dealership. I can leave you on red like an Xbox. Got me laughing at you like you Red Fox. Got you chasing Hot Wheels like a Matchbox. EA running the game and it don't stop. Super cold like I'm playing for Blizzard. Got you all in my sights like Red Dead Redemption. Never gonna slip on my pimpin'. Better get out my way, bitch, I'm on a mission. Really ain't no competition. I'm steady grilling opposition. I'm get up and ready to win. They can play it how they play, but fuck what you say. I'm getting this money today. Last of us like a dying breed. Down the ride like a noble steed. Fatality moves, I make you bleed. That's on any game, that's on any screen. Shut up and give me your money. They said we so lit. Even if I take an L, we coming back just to show that we don't quit. They said we said we in. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said we gone. We say that you heard right. 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 They said we said we in. They said we said we on. They said we said strong. They said we said gone. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Bullsitting with me and Matt Likes Games right now. Cult Classic Cage, and I believe Cozy will be joining us here in a little bit. As of right now, they ain't really with us. And me and Matt have just been kicking back, talking about he's been talking to me about some of the weird missions and shit that he's been doing, like Death Stranding and whatever. I've still been playing nothing but Dune as of lately. We'll do our intros and whatnot, but I got questions for you, Matt. I got questions before we get started. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, buddy. I was looking. I was just at work today, and just so happened to look over, and ESPN was on the screen, right?
Yeah.
And they were talking about the Cavaliers, and they were like, you know, the Cavaliers are probably the number one team looking like in the East right now. Although they're probably not going to get as much coverage as New York throughout the year, they're probably the team to look out for, to beat. But this year is particularly important for them because they're 4 star-studded players that they have on the team, you know, that being Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Mobley, and Jared Allen, right? Those 4 have to put together something this year, or it's kind of like they might have to kind of split ways, is what the guy said on there. And I'm just kind of curious. I know we're not doing a sports podcast, but this is a team that me and Matt watch like all of the Cavs games, and I only watch them because he likes the Cavs. I just enjoy basketball, and I enjoy talking shit to them while they're playing. Sometimes, for the most part, I'm going for the Cavs, but there are times where I see certain teams, especially like Nuggets or something like that, where I want the Nuggets to win because I mean I'm a bit Denver. I mean, what would I look like going for some sorry ass Cavs team when I'm in Denver? But anyways,
Smart man.
But anyways, Matt, what do you have to say about that guy's comment about this year being essentially put up or shut up year?
Oh, it's funny because if you ask a lot of people or if you pay attention, which to be real, I don't even pay attention to it anymore. But like there's a section when I was on Twitter. There's a section of Twitter that's often referred to, just like any other sports Twitter. Like there's a Cavs Twitter, and if you were to poll Cavs Twitter, the year to put up or shut up was last year. Not
You
even
think
this year.
so? Because
Yes. Yeah.
and here's another reason, and we're gonna watch this afterwards. This is hella funny. But
Yeah.
but the reason why I kind of agreed with them saying this year is because he said that they kind of got them as far as they kind of did, but this was still kind of his first year as head coach. But the weird and problem is they got rid of JB Bickerstaff, which ended on the same spot in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So then they're like, they don't know if it's the players or the coaching right now, but they're thinking that this coming year, if JB Bickerstaff, outdoes him with the Pistons in the playoffs, because the normal season he won't. The normal season he won't. But in the playoffs, I mean, we seen the Pacers just go to the finals, right?
Yep.
So like, what if they go nuts, right? What if Duran goes crazy? What if Isaiah Stewart comes back with a vengeance, and he's putting up 30 a game, That'd be dope.
I mean, that'd be
Isaiah Stewart.
That'd be something.
30 a game.
He's never done that. But so I feel like the thing is people overreact with when the Cavs lost this year, I was upset, but also I kind of had to limit how upset I was because realistically, we had like three people who probably shouldn't have been playing given their injuries. In fact, Darius Garland, because he played, had to have surgery. Now he's going to miss the first half of the season. So he shouldn't have been playing. Evan Mobley probably shouldn't have been playing. DeAndre Hunter probably shouldn't have been playing. Donovan, you could argue for, because Donovan Mitchell almost certainly shouldn't have been playing because he had the same thing Tyrese Halliburton had, and the same thing could have happened to Donovan that happened to Tyrese. The only reason it didn't is because we didn't get further in the playoffs and there wasn't enough chances for it to happen. Otherwise, if the Cavs went to the finals, we could be looking at the exact same situation we just saw with Tyrese and the Pacers. So I don't think it's coaching. I don't think it's really the players. And if you were going to sit here and say it's the players, I think it's honestly as simple as much as I love the guy, I think it's honestly as simple as probably moving Jared Allen, putting Mobley at the 5 and getting some sort of piece, whether that's a wing player, whether that's a solid backup point guard, and if you lose Ty Jerome in free agency, which you might, whether that's getting a backup center for Evan. But I think if it's a player issue, it can kind of be boiled down to running Jared Allen and Evan Mobley at the same time on the floor, because Jared Allen can't shoot. Evan Mobley's just learning how to shoot. There's not enough spacing. I certainly don't think it's a coaching issue, but more than anything, I think it's just Darius Garland was injured, Evan Mobley was injured, and DeAndre Hunter was injured. And that's 3 of your top 4. And realistically, Donovan was injured too. Even though he still played like Superman, he was still injured. I just think it comes down to injuries more than anything. You get unlucky at the exact wrong time, and it happened last year with the Cavs. And you can say that's a pattern because Darius got injured last year with the Cavs. He got injured this year with the Cavs. Jarrett got injured last year with the Cavs. Jarrett didn't really get injured this year, but you know what I mean. There's a pattern. I think it's just in order to be where the Pacers and the Thunder are, you got to get really lucky, which is kind of insane to say considering what happened to the Pacers. But you got to get lucky to make it there, on top of being a really good team and a really well-coached team. So
okay, now, so shout out to Dayreezy saying, "Why you got to remind me of the Cavs again?" Oh,
shout out to you, Dayreezy.
Sounds like a salty fan. Deal with it. talking about the Cavs, and
It's okay though because we got Tyrese Proctor in the draft day, Reezy, and he's gonna save us all.
yeah, that doesn't sound like much. But
Mm.
anyways, yeah, we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see, buddy. But I got a couple videos that I wanted you to check out, Matt, before we kind of
Yeah.
got going on today's show. Just since we're a little light on people being here and stuff like that, I felt like it'd be kind of interesting to watch you react to a few things.
Mhm.
So here's one video. I'm assuming you know who Cam Newton is,
I do know who Cam Newton is.
and you definitely know who Kevin Gates is.
Yeah.
This is gonna be
Kevin
something.
Gates. I've heard of Kevin Gates.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got Mr. Kevin Gates here today.
Can you hear it?
What are you correct?
That's
Oh,
great.
well.
That actually does
Man,
look
what
like
up?
Kevin Gates.
Say, big brother, I love
Can you hear it?
I'm happy to be
Yeah.
here. I'm happy you had me. Yes, Lord.
I appreciate it, Gates. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's
Man,
talk
let's go.
about what's going on.
Ask me whatever. I'm here at your discretion.
Let's talk about, you got an album you're working on? What's going on? Let me hear
Man, of
something.
course. So, you got to keep in mind, if you get out of line, I'm going to get street with you. I'm from a state you're stupid, you got from it, buy a brick. I throw in the Louis Vuitton muscle on the eye.
That boy spit. He spit.
Oh, well.
Well, let's talk about you, man. You're trending. What's up with the lady? You still with the lady? I ain't seen you with the missus.
Say, big brother, those who I love, I do not discuss.
Why you sound just like him though, like that?
Those who I love,
He
I
does.
do not discuss, but I wish her the best. You heard me? Big brother, can I ask you a question?
Ask me whatever.
Man, your outfit, you heard me?
My
You know,
dreads?
man, look, it look like you finna go to church and play hockey.
Oh,
and listen to a garden,
man,
you
it's
heard me?
fashion. I'm fashion. I'm swagging. I put it on.
Man,
Once I
that's
put it on, I'm known. I'm grown.
Big brother,
I heard you was a dog in sports. What you play?
I never played football. You heard me? What's the other terminology that y'all call the football?
Pigskin.
I can't do it, big brother. That's swine. You heard me? That's pork. Y'all playing with pork. I don't play like that. I'm a Muslim, big bro. All praises be to Allah.
Not to get in your mix, but I heard that you like to eat the box. Not the box,
Say,
the box.
big brother Cam, can I tell you something?
Tell me.
I never spoke this before. I never spoke any words of this, big brother. This is my first time saying
I
this.
knew that was coming.
You heard me? But I went down on my significant other. You heard me? I had just got these diamonds in my grill.
Okay.
You know, she proceeded to use the bathroom, and when she wiped, I grabbed a little piece of tissue. It had a diamond in it.
Oh, wow.
So apparently, diamonds exited my mouth. You know, her little booty was just twinkling.
That's Cal. That's Cal.
She had a little diamond in her booty. You heard me? I call her diamond.
That's
I call
crazy.
her diamond. You can never get away from me, diamond.
You can
Yep.
never get away from me. Oh my god.
So I
That's-
want you to tell me what you thought of that.
He did a really good job sounding like Kevin Gates.
Dude,
He
he
did a
sounded
spectacular-
exactly like Kevin Gates. It was kind of terrifying.
It was, and it looked pretty spot on for Kevin Gates. Also, who is that? Who did that?
Well, I mean, it
Corey
says
with
right
the
here
K.
at
Corey
Court
with
with
the K.
yeah, Court with the K.
I've
so-
never heard of him, but shout out to him because that was hilarious. I've legit not thought of Kevin Gates since maybe 2015. When did that song come out? Two Phones.
Yeah, two phones. Yeah,
I haven't thought of Kevin Gates since that song, so that's hilarious to see that. Also, the Cam Newton thing. Cam Newton looked like he was wearing a fucking balloon animal on his head right there.
the thing is, he really rocks stuff like that, right?
He does. He really does.
He really
Which-
does, and it's kind of weird. So, all right, so that's one video I wanted you to watch. You're going to be extremely disappointed watching the second video because I
Oh,
was
that's good.
just extremely disappointed watching it. Somebody just
That's
joined the
good.
stream now. I'll add you here in just a second. I want to get this up on the screen. You might want to close your eyes. I don't know. This is tough right
Sounds like it's
here.
gonna be great.
This is tough right here. But I've been
What
wondering
is that?
what
is
has
that?
what has been going on with these videos.
What is that?
lately. What
Tell
has
me
been
that's
going
some
on with
weird
these videos?
applesauce, please.
What up,
Tell me
Cold
that's
Classic?
some weird
What
applesauce.
has
Yeah.
been going on? I don't know what's been going on with these videos lately.
I don't know what that is.
But there's
bro.
been a lot of these videos. There's been like white folks that are like making jokes, I assume. But then there's
Maybe.
this, and I'm just like not sure if this is a joke.
I don't know.
I'm
but
confused.
I don't know what that is, but I'm
Here
hoping
you
it's
go,
some
buddy.
weird applesauce, but that don't look like applesauce. So.
It gets so much worse.
What the hell?
Oh my god, it was wet. Ah. Oh, I thought that. Oh.
Okay. All right. I've had enough.
How we go, bro?
This. All right. Yeah, we're good on that.
I thought
We're
that
good
was
on
a solid
that.
thing
Is insane. What are these videos?
I've never seen that. I couldn't tell you.
I've seen like I've scrolled and seen like at least 15 different videos within the last like 6 months. And like sometimes like sometimes like I said, sometimes they're white people, sometimes they're black folks. This looks, I mean, I don't want to say, I don't know.
Is this something we want to admit to us? You know, something that you like watching, brother?
This is
I mean, I don't know. I mean, just Twitter's tough. It has a tough feed.
Yeah,
that's the best I can say.
Yeah,
that's pretty nuts, though. That was nuts.
When he moved and like that whatever that is in that bucket moved, and I realized it was all liquid, I almost got sick.
It's
almost got sick.
You don't want
It's like they're using different parts of their body as seasonings, and it is.
They sure are.
I honestly want to think that this is not real. That this is just like stage.
I would assume so. That has to be fake. Like, there's no way. I don't care what the joke is about Indian food or any sort of food. There's no way they're spitting on your. There's no way they're spitting on food and serving it up right in front of you. That's insane.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm curious about the foot in the water though. I don't really understand that one.
I didn't realize it was water, dude. I thought it was like it looked like.
I thought it was like. I honestly thought it was like oatmeal or something wild like that.
Indian food just generally gets a bad rap because of how like strong the odors are.
It's so good.
It's good though, yeah.
It is good.
See, but that's not good.
I've only been to like 3 different Indian restaurants. I've been to a few Indian restaurants, like 3 different Ethiopian restaurants, one Jamaican restaurant I've only been to.
I wish they were the one around here closed.
Was good.
It's closed. My local Jamaican joint is closed.
I think I had Jamaican. No, I think I have. I've had Jamaican food. Like once, maybe.
They have this like meat pastry kind of thing. I forgot what it's called. So fucking good. But I tell you what, that video wasn't good. So we're gonna move on.
The video was bad.
The video was
horrendous.
That was pretty tough. That was pretty tough. All right, but anyways, but now that we got everybody here, I just wanted.
Is it the same guy? Was that also Corey with a K?
No, it wasn't. No.
Oh, I was about to say, well, what is this guy doing?
No. I just wanted to merge screens because I couldn't handle seeing that dude's foot in that water anymore.
Yeah,
that was tough.
It looks. It's
Yeah.
delicious.
You know what? Actually, no, I'm not even doing it. I seen something that looked pretty cool where some person had like a Bible thing where they opened up the Bible or like it wasn't like a Bible, it was just like a big book. It looked kind of like a Bible, but he like opened up the first page and then he burned the first page on it, and under it was like a bunch of like meats that you throw on a grill. It looked really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like looking at weird food stuff, so every once in a while I run into something weird like that where someone's cooking something and that ain't cooking. but he was doing stuff.
Yeah.
He was doing stuff to the food.
Yeah, for me, I love TikTok, but there's only two things I allowed to be on my feed, and that's cats and food. Like good food, not like troll bullshit cooking like that. Whatever the fuck that was supposed to be.
This is from Twitter, so like it says TikTok right here, but it was on Twitter.
Yeah, that's a lot of my YouTube is cats, food, and funny videos.
I don't with the cat stuff. I don't mind cats. I just don't look at cat videos.
Love cats, dude.
Yeah, they're funny as shit.
They're great.
But welcome back, Cult Classic Cage. It's been a while since we've
I
had you on
know.
the stream. Welcome. Good to see you here. Thanks for
fixed-
joining. What's been happening with you?
Bruh, I don't know if I sound good, but I think I do. I'm pretty sure I fixed my audio. So you
Sound
guys
good.
have you guys have my utmost best audio. So shout out to you.
Yeah, I mean, you sound fine to us. I don't have
Thank
any
you.
problems hearing you at all right now. Loud and clear. Cozy, what's cracking with you? You doing all right? The bird's nice and quiet this time. Yeah, go on ahead.
I don't think you can hear very well with this mic. Can you? She's
I
quiet
mean,
right now.
I can
Except
hear
for
you.
no, it is a little duller than it used to be, though, for sure. So you must have did some sort of sound noise counseling or something like that, but it's working.
It's snowing as well.
What did you say?
Yeah.
It's snowing as well.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, sideways.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Snowy.
I forgot that your house is a paranormal phenomenon.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
It's just
I thought you meant it
constantly
was-
got like little feathers flying in the air and stuff like that. Just
Yeah.
It really is. When she shakes, it's like very obvious.
You've been playing anything lately, Cozy?
Oh, altars. The altars.
Okay,
Nice.
the Altars, that new game. I mean, it seems like a pretty interesting game. I haven't got to try it out lately, but it seems like everybody that plays it is kind of in love with it.
It's like Fallout Shelter, essentially.
Okay, I can see that. I can see why people are into that.
Except it's like Fallout Shelter with a dude who only has various versions of himself from alternate timelines.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
And some of you are really assholes.
I got to the first altar and I talked to him and he really hated me. I don't know what I said to him.
Punchable. He's so punchable.
He hated me so much.
But there's some
I don't
others
know if
that
I
are
did
worse
something
than him.
wrong.
There are others that are worse than him.
Gotcha. Yeah, that guy was pretty bad.
Dude, it's crazy. Like for me, I lost power for like 3 fucking days straight. So I was like, dude, it's rough. It was like 100 degrees like 2 out of those 3 days. It was nasty work. But when I finally got power back, first thing I ended up running was Dying Light, the original, because they just kind of did a little update that made the game look and sound even cleaner. And it's actually, if you love that game, it's to jump into it before the beast. It's not bad. It looks clean as fuck.
I found the perfect video for Loke. Oh man, you guys want to see it?
Yeah.
See it.
This is something else. Cozy, oh no. Okay, all right.
Doesn't sound good.
A lot of people been asking for
Bro, what
a
is that?
feetloaf recipe. Yeah, I'm giving the dogs out for free. I'm a man of the people, a man of the people, if you will. Listen, if you're gonna come to me talking about loafers, you better be talking about meat loafers. Cause that's what's going on right here. We got feetloaf meatloaf. Perfectly seasoned feet meat, just the way I like them. And you don't have to do feetloaf, you could do a feet ball, dude. A little marinara and mozzarella on there. Listen, I ain't one to suck toes unless they're 80-20 and smothered with a little bit of ketchup. And don't freaking tempt me, I might sit on one of these molds and do an ass loaf next. A lot of people been asking for a...
That was tough.
Just sucking.
You can't tell me that that's not funny.
You know
can't tell me that's
That's
not
nasty
funny.
work, bro.
There's probably a market for selling your feet-shaped treats to people.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Oh
Sure
man,
there is.
there's Cozy with the guy with the great ideas.
There's so
Hey.
Right there.
Hey, since you guys won't take me up on my other one.
Okay. That was crazy. I again just scrolling, and there it was.
Yeah, dude.
But anyways, all right. So Colt,
Feed.
it's been a minute since we've had you here. What have you been up to on your streaming, podcasts, or there you've been, you do your damn thing. You do movies, you talk about games, you talk
Yo.
about Gremlins, you talk
Believe
about
it or
all
not.
sorts of different stuff.
Believe it or not, I dropped the other entertainment stuff. I just talk like gaming now. Anything centered around gaming, yeah. Kind of just made it a focal point.
No movies anymore, huh?
I have like a second channel, but it's like more experimenting. It's just to separate the stuff because you kind of want to have like a focal point. Like you're just if you want to do different topics, it's probably just better to have different different channels for it. That's what I noticed. But yeah, there's just so much gaming stuff to talk about all the time that I don't have time to talk about anything else. For me, I just collect my movies and catch my movies. That's really my thing with the whole movie stuff. But other than that, really, it's just doing live streams to entertain the people, man. Have some fun. Where I just let most of my audience just make fun of me for freaking 6-7 hours sometimes, and they have a kick out of it.
Yeah, we've noticed. Man, there's a lot of people that come here to make fun of Loke, and it's very unfortunate that Loke is out right now. He's going to be back here in the near future, but
Yeah.
him and his wife are taking care of getting their new home in order.
Ooh, nice. Congratulations to him, man.
So yeah, I told him to take his time and come back whenever he's ready. So,
Hell yeah.
so it is what it is. He said he might be back next week, but he's told me that for a few weeks. I don't know what to. I don't know what to do.
Gotta have me back on when he's on, bro. Me and Loke, me and Loke get along so well, man. That's my dude, bro. Shout out to Loke.
Yeah, Loke is dope. I mean, that's why that's why I always have him around. That's why I love keeping bro around. He's a good dude.
Absolutely.
But anyways, moving on. Let's get to the gaming part because I wanted to talk all about this stuff that's been happening. There's been a lot. I mean, as you've been, as you just got done saying that you had to kind of cut down your own, stuff that you were doing on your own channel because there's been just so much news to come out as of lately. I want to. I guess I'm going to kind of skip around, and what I usually like to do, whether you call it fortunate or unfortunate, I usually like to throw up or what I've been doing lately is just throwing up the thumbnail that I have as of lately, and just kind of pointing out what we're going to be talking about as for the day, just so you're kind of up to snuff on what we're going to be going through and chatting about. You'll know right here and right now. So we're going to go through, watch a little bit of the Don Walker opening gameplay that they showed about that game. I'm not sure if you had time to sit around and check it out, but we're going to check that out. We're also going to be talking about Hellblade Senua, Hellblade 2 going back to PlayStation again, which, I mean, a lot of us seen that coming, but here it is actually happening. But the weird thing in this situation, of course, is once again, Xbox waits to release a patch to make it more performance. They wait to give that patch out until it's on another device to be able to play it. So then it's like, oh, it could have did that the whole time, but you just waited. You just kind of held back on it. So it seems a little wishy-washy. So we're going to talk about that. Then we're lightly going to talk about the MetaQuest Xbox headset, Warcraft going over to Game Pass. We'll talk about layoffs, and then lastly end it with this integration of Steam on Xbox and get everybody's thoughts about that. So, does that sound good, everybody?
No.
Yes.
Is there anything you wanted to add there, Cozy, since you're the only one with some sort of issue?
These nuts.
Well, I'm not taking
Jesus.
that. I'm not taking
Yeah.
any of that. Not taking it. Not taking it. Not dealing with it. Moving on, and we are on to Don Walker. So let's check out this game. I don't think there's really any music in it other than the actual game music itself. Let me turn it down. Blast. But yeah, I thought this game looked kind of neat. Matt showed me a little bit of it the other day.
It's made by ex-Witcher devs, right, or something like that.
Yes, it is.
And you can when the gameplay starts, you can absolutely see it's very
Hello,
Witcher.
my name is Daniel Sadowski, and I'm the design director at Rebel Wolves. I would like to welcome you to the Blood of Dawnwalker summer gameplay video. Our game is a story-driven, open-world dark fantasy RPG set in medieval Europe. The game is currently in pre-beta stage, and what we're going to show you is just a part of one of the mid-game quests. It's a really cool story involving legendary swords and a haunted almshouse, but today we'll focus on showcasing
Good to see you, Raichi. What's cracking?
systems. We're starting on the outskirts of Svartro,
What's
the
up,
game's
Raichi?
largest city and the capital of
You guys
Senua.
don't forget to hit that
From
like
here,
button, share
we
this
could
out
head
if you
anywhere the
can.
eye
Even
see,
those of you on the panel, if
explore
you can, share it out.
ruins, or sabotage vampire blood transports. But it's not just about where or when you go. It's also about how you approach the main quest and shape the story, making each playthrough uniquely your own. For now, we're following the road. Cohen is on his way to the city's cathedral, chasing leads about a powerful weapon said to be hidden in its crypts. But first, we'll have to deal with some bandits who camped out by the main road. Traveling through Vale Sangora is never boring. The world is dense with quests, random encounters, and locations steep in lore. This will be a great opportunity to show you our combat system. Our goal was to make the player feel like a real swordmaster who closely observes his enemies. We'll begin this fight by using acrid dust to stun one of the enemies. Now, when you attack, you choose one of four directions: up, down, left, or right, in order to hit the opponent where he's unable to parry. And similarly, when defending, you have to take note of the enemy's intent and the direction of the attack.
So
On the left
it's
side of the screen,
basically
just above Khan's health, you have activation charges that will be
Kingdom
filled
Come?
in with each successful attack.
Kingdom
block, and
Come
parry.
Deliverance, but in
Once
third
they're
person.
full, you can use one of
Which
the
is
abilities
nice.
which allow you to take
When they were
more
saying
You
that,
couldn't
I
see
really
behind
liked
you
Kingdom Come.
sometimes.
Yeah.
We started the fight by
That
throwing
was the
some
big
acrid
problem I had
dust.
with Kingdom
And
Come
now
was
let's
like
cast burning
getting
Hand.
into the fight.
It's a hex which boils the
Couldn't see
acid
behind you.
and burns
Yeah, you
their
can't see
skin,
behind you.
dealing
Just
physical
run up on
damage
you and you're
over
dead.
time. All right, time to finish this fight. Let's use the final activation.
I like how
charge
it
to
stops
cast
like Fallout.
Archery which
Nice.
That's pretty
Doesn't
sick.
that kind of remind you of Fallout though, right there?
Our
Yeah,
hero
yeah.
quickly
The
dispatched
bats,
bandits,
yeah.
so let's
Yeah, the
loot a few
bats.
items they've left behind and open the inventory. First of all, let's replenish our health by eating something, and then take a closer look at this cool-looking weapon we just picked up. Ah, it has better stats than our current weapon, so let's equip it right now. We've also leveled up.
Probably watch
so
about
let's
10
use
minutes of this because I don't want to
opportunity
watch,
spend the newly
sit here for 20
acquired
minutes
skill
watching the
point
whole thing.
in one of Cohen's skill trees.
Now skip the skill tree then.
The skills in the Blood of Dawnwalker are
Yeah,
divided
I'm
into
down.
3 trees. One for human, one for vampire, and one shared between
Probably
the
should go
two.
to like
Which rough skill?
when he gets to like the city
So
or
the
whatever.
guards will just wave us through. But the more damage you cause, the more suspicious and aggressive they'll become.
Because
So
this
when you play the game
a lot of
yourself,
this just
you'll have
reminds
to
me of like
decide whether you want to
Vampire, but
challenge the
obviously in a
vampires
different
openly,
time setting.
or lay low
But
until
it's like
you're ready
it's like
to strike
Vampire
and
but with a
surprise them.
budget. Because Vampire was an interesting game. It was definitely cool in its own right, but it was a small scale game.
This is the rich district of the city, Silber.
Yeah, there's a lot of attitude
There's
in this
also
game.
Altenmarkt, Neustadt,
Yeah, like even
and
walking
the
around
Mitte.
the city reminds
Each
you,
of the
at
boroughs
least
has
me,
its
a
own
lot
feel
of
and
Witcher.
character.
Like how the
Yeah, the
people
city
be
definitely.
talking, and the dialogue pops over their heads while they're talking, and everyone's having their own conversation.
I mean, what's the
Looming
big
high
question,
over the
though? The
city
big
is
question,
Ventus's
can this
castle,
compete with Witcher 4?
Dryberg. He took it over when he
I mean,
We're gonna
slaughtered the
find
former
out.
depending on how
ruler of the
different it
valley,
is.
Skender, as shown in the
You think?
trailer we shared with you
Yeah.
earlier
As long as
in
it's a solid
January
game,
this
depending
year.
on how, I mean,
In order to complete the main quest and save your family,
Well, your
you will
character's a
have to
vampire, so
storm the
that's definitely a whole other,
alone or with help of friendly
whole other
NPCs.
aspect.
We
but a
could
lot of
do
gamers
it
are
right
kinda
now
dumb.
if we wanted.
we know this.
But
They'll be
so-
like, this
it would be
game
super
isn't like the
challenging.
other game that they never said it was. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I will say that once he
I
taps
think it's gonna be kind of.
vampire powers, that's like a different dynamic
Let's check
altogether.
it out. The cathedral is really close.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other places to see.
It kind of
and
reminds
things
me
to do.
of
A
like
couple of inns,
what
a
people
medic, a
thought
blacksmith,
about
an
striking
armorer,
distance
and other
versus
merchants.
Dead Space, right? So like if you looked
You
at
can see that
Callisto
not only the
Protocol,
vampires came
like
out
you
of the
looked at it and you're like,
shadows.
man, this
creature
this
on
looks
the
like it'll
right
be
is called
better
an Uriash.
than
Look
Dead
around,
Space,
especially at night,
and this looks like it
and
might
you'll
be better
learn
than
humans
Witcher, but
have
I'm
lots to
I'm
fear,
nervous it might
not
come out and
the
just be
vampires.
it might be good in its own respect, but I think Witcher 4 might come out
And here we can see guards pounding on some poor
and
guy's
remind you
doors.
why it is what it is.
I think, like, if I had to bet on which game I would personally like more, I'm excited for both games, but I'd
Yeah.
probably go Witcher 4.
I would probably say this, but it
It's
looks a little
just one of
scary.
many
But
different
I also
community
don't like
themes
any
we're
Witcher game.
implementing in the game.
Yeah, for me, it's like I
Listen
love The
closely
Witcher
when you
3, don't
play,
get me wrong,
as
but at the
they
same
might
time,
point
too,
you to
I
new
don't
quests
like
and
the
hidden
main
treasures,
difference I'm
all
getting from The
signal
Witcher 4, at least so
changes in the
far, is
game's
that
world.
it's just a different protagonist. But she kind of is doing a lot of the same shit, Geralt is doing anyway. So, as much as I like The Witcher 3, I want something that's different from The Witcher 3. And I'm not really convinced of that.
Sure.
Because, like, as much as it is, it's a franchise, it has to follow its past and whatnot, I get that. But at the same time, too, I don't think I want to spend another
Okay,
500 hours
we
playing
are
The
at
Witcher
the
3, but
cathedral
with a different
gates.
protagonist.
Again,
Yeah.
since
I like
Cohen
different
isn't yet
experiences.
wanted by the vampire regime, and it's daytime, we can simply
I'm not the
walk
biggest
inside.
fan of The Witcher, so I agree.
The baptism of a newborn is a solemn moment, doubly so.
Let's see. I don't really need to see a cutscene as much as I want to see some fighting.
Yeah, I want to skip to where he starts to show his vampire
And it's
shit.
more of a resource you'll be spending than
Like
a
here,
race in
here
Prague.
he goes like he's like jumping around and shit. They're showing you like the traversal
As a
aspect of
vampire,
his like
you'll see and
vampiric shit, which is
experience the
cool.
world from a
And then
different
like they
Mhm,
end up,
it is.
actually
Travel
going into the
quickly and
vampire
easily
battle, which is
access
cool
places
too.
beyond the reach of
Matt said it the
regular
other day, the way that
Let us
they
show you
travel
what we
kind of reminds them of
This
Dishonored,
is Shadow Step.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have
Unique
like that blink
vampiric
ability.
which makes a lot of
allowing Cohen
sense.
to jump to almost any place within his reach.
It almost
Now,
looks the
let's take a
exact
good
same.
Look around using the focus mode. This ability highlights objects
Yeah.
of interest and loot. And there is something right here. This time it's just some items to grab, but on other occasions, who knows? You might. Let's grab him and use Voracious Bite ability. Unless you lose control due to hunger, you get to decide how much blood to drink. You can drain just a bit and knock your victim unconscious, or go all the way and kill them. And
does
if
seem
you're
like
adamant you don't want to hurt innocent humans, you can drink from animals and some other creatures.
Ah,
They really emphasize in this
Finally, we
game
are at the cathedral, but it
choice
seems to be closed for the night.
of like how
And
you
the
want to
entrance gate is
portray
well guarded.
yourself.
I kind
Let's
of like
find
that.
Yeah.
another way in.
Hopefully, it'll feel meaningful.
Yeah, I like the gothic look to it too. That's pretty nice. I'm not really much for
Shadow
like
Step is not the
biking like
only
stuff.
vampiric
That's not
ability
never
you're
been my
gonna learn
bag.
during
So
your
this
playthrough.
I like this approach
Cohen
more
can
personally.
also use plane shift to scale walls and even ceilings smoothly.
Yeah, that
Walking up the walls, dope.
This will allow us to explore every nook and cranny of the cathedral.
Blood to blood.
Better be quiet.
You shall become Kenya's prince.
Is that voyeurist Xanthi?
He's
What the hell is she doing here? What is she doing?
Let's descend and check what's going on.
I like the way he goes down right there.
Yeah. There's a lot of good details here. Yeah, this is where it gets interesting in terms of combat.
Don't think I don't see you skulking in the shadows. Come out. You're interfering with my task. Who are you?
It doesn't matter.
Very well. I don't have time for interruptions. Let us dispose of him. Quickly.
Freaky enemy design.
I mean, it's
Cohen
vampires.
is using his claws to attack
Yeah, looks
when in
cool.
vampire form. Blood guards are dual-wielding opponents. Their attacks are pretty strong. Of course,
It's
even
crazy that
when
you
fighting with claws,
just going in
combat
with
is still
hands.
directional. Don't worry, Cohen can still use his sword as a vampire.
That's pretty cool. You can still use your sword.
Yep, there's still variety there.
Only after defeating all three of the blood guards, Xanthi deems Cohen worthy of a
The
challenge.
gameplay is kind of quick. It's quicker than you would think.
She uses her
Yeah.
blood control powers to cast a
It's
multitude
good, at least
of
when you're a
attacks,
vampire,
like her
because,
blood
you know,
whips
you're supposed to
that
have
hit
that
Cohen from left and right.
increase, and you want to make it feel like it's a difference.
Xanthi is protected by a
Yeah.
powerful vampire ability. Once her stamina runs out, Cohen will have an opportunity to strike and deal some damage. But be careful, cause Xanthi is quick to counterattack, and she will also try to restore her blood. Meanwhile, look at the indicator just below.
I can
her
see
health
that
and
pissing a
stamina.
lot of people
It's
off.
a timer of the boiling blood
I
skill
think
that
that's-
you've
I
seen
can't kill
on
her.
the CGI trailer. So, if we don't hurry, the timer goes down to 0, and Cohen will eventually explode.
Rip.
And we're dead.
I like
Remember,
that.
Tragic.
we were only mid-game here, and Xanthi is one of the game's most punishing enemies. Defeating her right here and right now is very much possible, but it would be hellishly difficult. A fun challenge for hardcore players.
Oh no, bro.
Otherwise,
Okay.
He
we
was
could load the
fucking
game
like
hitting the
that.
shit out of
and
her, though.
explore the cathedral without
like
drawing
that.
Yeah,
any
those
You don't have
couple
to
hits you
kill-
got.
or try to get to
Good
her
on
while she's not surrounded by bodyguards.
Oh,
What
different
was it?
methods. Okay, Matt, when you said Dishonored, I'm feeling that.
There's like different stages to the battle, essentially, they're alluding to, so.
All right, let's get
I like
into it then, real quick, so we can talk about this game. Cozy,
Yes.
you were at least going into it seeming to be the least interested in the game, but now that you got to watch it, see what kind of happens, see the types of ways that you can attack certain missions or even bosses, what are you thinking about what you just got done seeing?
They've sold it to me. I'll be honest, because I remember when we initially saw this,
Full price?
I was very much nah. They've sold this to me. They've sold this to me. They really have sold this to me. Like, I would legit be like, okay, I'll buy this game. They sold it to me as an experience. You know, I'm all about like gameplay, and I also like choice in how you approach things. If you tell me I don't have to do things a certain way, I'm gonna be like, bet. I'm gonna be all sorts of, creative with how I approach a game. If you tell me I'm a vampire that has to feed, but I don't have to eat people because I don't want to hurt people, shut up. Then I'm gonna be
Yeah.
I'm all about that. They've sold me a lot on. I mean, looking at the combat looks good. The choice in how you approach things looks great. I love that.
Bless
No
you.
doubt. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, it does look good. It looks pretty interesting. Cult classic Cage. Assy, what you got to tell us? What you think about the game? We heard what you said during, but like after kind of, I mean, you've already seen the video. You knew what was going to happen, when it was going to happen, how it was going to happen. But what is your maybe some expectations that you're looking for with this game?
Well, for me, this is like a studio that's trying to get, its name out there. Obviously, they have talented people that are working on the game. I like The Witcher 3 a lot. It's actually one of my favorite games. It actually got me Witcher 3, it kind of got me through one of the lowest points of my life when my grandmother died. So I just like no life the shit out
I
of that game
remember
to
you
kind of
talking
just
about
deal
that.
with it. Yeah, and I love the game, and to see some of these dudes start their own studio, have their own vision. I like where it's going, and I do like that it has some similarities to The Witcher 3, but you could tell that they're trying to do something else entirely too. So I have at low expectations because it's a new studio. I don't expect them to have the same kind of level as like studios that have been around for 20 years, But you could tell that their aspirations are high here. I could at least, for me, I was like, yeah, this is like a vampire, but it does look like it has more of a budget. And I think that's a great thing. But I I don't like to just jump to conclusions. Hey, this needs to be, a quadruple A title, and it needs to feel like that. No, it looks like it. The presentation's good. I'm very interested in this game for sure. If they do the right thing, if they treat us right, then get themselves known in the space, and the game is a good game. I definitely want to check it out, man.
All right. Well, before I go to you, Matt, to end us out, I'm going to go on ahead and speak for myself on this game. It looks
Yeah.
interesting. It has a lot of cool features. I'm not sold yet.
Mm.
I like Cozy has now surpassed me as more interested in this game.
Hmm.
Like at first I suspected she was the least interested. I thought it would stay that way. She ends up now being interested in the game, and I'm just kind of like, it looks cool. Like I like fighting when you're in the vampire mode. That looks really neat. Um, I don't know. To me, I feel like when I see him out traversing around and stuff like that, there's just so many pieces to that game that I feel like I've played before, and it didn't convince me to like other games similar to it.
Mm.
Right? Like I said, like I'm not the biggest Witcher fan, so so its comparison of it being like The Witcher means nothing to me.
Out of curiosity, what's kind of the thing that makes you like, I can't do The Witcher? Like, what is it particularly? Just out of curiosity.
Uh, I've talked to Matt about this a few times, and Loke, and I'm sure Cozy as well, since I've known her now for what, 4 years at this point.
Mhm.
God damn, too long. But I love you, Cozy. But anyways, I, I think it's the setting.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think the setting is what off puts me with a lot of these games, because it feels like from like if I just get done playing a game like Plague's Tale and then I'm in this setting, I'm like, all right, well, I don't really feel like I don't feel like I'm in a new world. I feel like I'm
Mm.
in a new country. You know what I mean? A new country that like is of a similar setting, but they have different rules here.
Mm.
And maybe different traversal here or something like that. But like another horse, sword, like and see, it's not exactly a bad thing, because there's plenty of games that are like, shoot 'em up loot, right? And I love them. But there, there's Borderlands, there's, Dune that just recently came out that you can do a lot of looting and shooting in. There's Fallout. There's all types of games like that. But for me, it's just like, for this setting to be popping and dope for me, it needs to really do something that other games just don't do. Because
Mm.
this game is showing me a lot of things that other games have done before. They're putting it together in a nice, neat, precise package, and I appreciate that. But I've yet to really see anything that looks like, oh, that's Dawn Walker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can just be like, oh, that looks like this, and that looks like that looks like this, but when I see when I see those claws come out and you're ripping into somebody and you rip the head off and whatnot, I'm like, that's cyberpunk. You know what I'm saying? With the with the exo claws on the hands and stuff like that, and you can just run up to enemies and do that stuff. I'm like, that's cyberpunk.
Yeah.
And it's just like that game, like Dawn Walker right now for me hasn't really shown me anything that like signifies that it is something different and surprising for me, seeing that I'm not really into something that's similar to it being The Witcher. This game looks interesting. It just doesn't look like a must buy for me.
I get what you're saying, actually, because I typically don't like. This is a setting that I typically kind of don't like. I think what helps this game specifically is the vampires.
You know what I was gonna say? I was gonna say this game has won over men because it has the visual aesthetic of men, but it has won over millennial women specifically because millennial women have always been obsessed with vampires. Even before Twilight.
That's a fact.
It has always been a thing from the 90s to
remember Buffy?
Aaliyah.
Oh yeah,
it's
always
wins
movie was
over.
terrible, but we all love it.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say, women and men loved Buffy. The women loved Buffy because it was a vampire. The men loved Buffy because she was fine.
Rest in peace, Michelle Trachtenberg.
It was Sarah Michelle Gellar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, the original film
was not was Christy. Not what's her name?
The sister character in the game in the show. I remember. Yeah, I know that she did die recently, right? Like
she
few months ago. Yeah,
after a liver disease or something.
Crazy, bro.
Thanks.
Also, Harriet the Spy, but the original one was what's her name? From the movie.
Yeah, I forget the name. Damn, that movie came out in '92. Honestly, I hated the movie.
Yeah, the movie is terrible.
Yeah. I mean, it had Luke Perry in it and, R.I.P. him, but
what's her name?
Christy Swanson. It had a good cast, but yeah, the original movie's not my bag. But yeah, millennial women love vampires. That's just what it is.
All right. But yeah, I mean, that's like my reason for this game, because you were asking why I don't like maybe these types of games or something like that. And yeah, I'm just waiting for something in it particular. Like maybe I just need to watch Matt play it for a little while to get into it or something like that. Because I felt the same way about Death Stranding, right? I was just like, walking around, not really that fun to me. And there are other games where it isn't that fun, but the story developed and it took me almost like 2 or 3 tries to beat that game.
I'm not gonna lie.
And I've heard things about Witcher being like, Matt told me it took him a couple tries, and Loke, I know it took him a couple tries to get through it.
Yep.
But the Witcher's so long that it's like I feel like you almost have to take like a little bit of a hiatus and come back to it, because it's just like if you want to get the full experience, like you can't just do the main story. Like that's not the full experience. It's a good experience, don't get me wrong, but you could change it. That could change your mindset. It's like it's a good experience playing the main story and not going anywhere else. But if you want to have, you can have a great experience if you try more. Honestly, I think the issue, and this goes into a little bit of my ranting, I guess. I just feel like every fucking game is third person now, and just everyone just irrationally hates first person. And it's like, okay, you can irrationally hate first person, but every fucking game is the same now. Every fucking game is a third person game. Most of it is over the shoulder now, so that further limits shit. Some of it's a little further back camera wise, but every game just feels the same to me. And I don't understand this immense hatred for first person shooters. I'm like becoming old in nature of my gameplay habits. I can't wait for the RoboCop DLC. I want to go back into first person and just because it's like, dude, every fucking game is third. and I just can't take it anymore. It's like as much as I love the games for what they are, and I love to see my character matters to me, but I just think that every game being third person is just so tiresome. It gives me the, well, I know exactly what to expect here. And by making that assumption, maybe I'll be wrong 1 out of 10 times, but it's still 9 out of 10 times I'm right.
Yeah.
And shout out
I
to
get
shout out to 4GQ TV saying, "Yo, Ham, I'm wearing the same shirt today. Let's go." I'm busy right now. Busy. But anyways, Matt, so you've now seen this trailer a few different times.
Yeah, a couple times.
You heard Cassie's thought. Cozy had her thought. I don't know where she went, but she might be back, hopefully. And you heard my gripes on it. And as you heard, like, I don't think it's a bad game. I'm just looking for a reason to be like, man, I gotta play this. So it's still it still has a lot of room to grow, but I'm just not like sold on it quite yet. And especially, and keep in mind, I brought up Striking Distance, which is a team, or isn't it Striking Distance one that?
Yeah, Callisto Protocol. So
yeah, Callisto Protocol. I gotta bring up Mind's Eye.
Oh.
Some of these smaller developers that go for reaching for the sky, right? I'm not hating. I'm not hating the small developer trying to reach for the sky because I want them to continue to do that, right? That's how you progress the industry. That's how you prove to people you don't need 1,000 plus Ubisoft developers. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you can prove to other people that you can get it done. But you're not back, Cozy. If you were back, I'd be able to see it. You're not back. Let me see. But yeah, I just had to bring that up because there is, the possibility that we see all this stuff and it just isn't as exciting, or maybe it's a lot smaller in scope than we anticipated to be. We like we see all this, we compare it to Witcher. Cassie just got done saying, yo, Witcher, like, you're not gonna finish that in 20, 30 hours, right?
Yeah.
At least not properly. I mean, I don't think you're flat out gonna finish it in that amount of time.
Yeah.
Even if you did just mainline the story. So with that being said, it's just like, do you think that they have anything to worry about when it comes to rolling out this game, Matt? And then also just tell me your all around thoughts around Dawn Walker, what you've seen, what gets you excited about it and whatnot. But yeah, first tell me about the idea of this game may have some sort of a tough time coming out because of recent games.
So I think just to compare to Mind's Eye, I think the difference with Mind's Eye is that Mind's Eye, we didn't see anything about the game until like 2 weeks before the game released. This is like at least a full year out, because they said 2026. We don't even know when in 2026. Could be early, could be late. We have no idea. Could even get delayed in 2027. We don't know. So I think good on them for having 20 minutes of something, whether that's, just this little 20-minute piece. Good on them for having 20 minutes of something here to show. Good on them for that. I think in terms of like, should they be worried? It sucks to say, and we'll talk about it later when we get into other things, but like, I think any team, any small team, or any team in general nowadays releasing game probably should be worried. You got to do a lot of the right things. You got to do so many right things. On top of building an awesome game, you have to do so many right things to get the messaging right around your game so that people aren't talking about something else other than your game. You have to do so many things right. And so far they're nailing it. Again, we're more than a year out from release probably. They're nailing it so far. And also in terms of, am I excited for it? Yes. Like, I love games that give me. I love player agency in games, choice, consequence. I love being able to do things many different ways. It's one of the reasons Arcane is my favorite developer. Dishonored's one of my favorite game series of all time because you can do so many different things in so many different ways. And it affects the outcome of the story and things that happen along the way and the settings that you see along the way. And if that's what they're going for with this game, then I'm 100% there. Combat looks fun, world looks fun. I like the art of the game. I know Call Classic Cage mentioned like the gothic setting. I do like that in the game. So I mean, I want to see more of it, but as of right now, yeah, I'm there for it. I will.
All right.
Unless something drastic happens, I'll be getting this.
Yeah.
Yo, it's Timmy. What's cracking? Good to see you, Dorian Gray.
Hey!
Goodness gracious.
Sorry.
And
Sorry
Dorian
about
Gray,
that.
good to see you as well. Cozy, you hopping in and out of service with us, but
Okay,
you're
so
good. You're back.
no. The issue, so you know how I always talk about how I run Sims in the background and my computer is entirely about running
Did it
Sims.
kill your computer?
Eventually, it eats so much RAM that it makes my computer crash.
There you go.
Ah, man, so responsible, Cozy.
So then
My
I just have to
goodness.
shut down Sims and delete all my saves and start over from scratch.
All right, well, let's keep it moving because we got a lot of other stuff to talk about, and we spent a lot of time on Don Walker.
Timothy, who
So-
hates Dawn Walker?
I don't hate. I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing this with you. Anyways, moving on. Hellblade 2. What is it? Senua Sacrifice is coming out for PS5 here in the near future. I'm not sure if I said that right. Senua. Was it Senua Sacrifice or Saga? I always get the two mixed
Saga.
up. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Saga for number 2. I always get those two names mixed up. But they are coming out to PS5, and the reason I brought this up because I mean, obviously, this has been announced for a little while, but now that we're getting closer to the time of it coming out, we then get the update that is unlocking 60 FPS for the Series X in particular as it's rolling out to the PS5. And I'm gonna go first to one of the more diabolical people on the panel today, and that's Cult Classic Cage. I gotta hear what you have to say about them just being like, oh yeah, 60 FPS, here you go. Yeah, there you go. You got it. And we got it done just in time for another console to have it. So now you guys both have great versions.
Yeah. Honestly, it's like, what incentive is there to play the game when it launches if you care about general performance options? I was just talking about that last night. It's like, I don't understand how they think people aren't going to catch on to the meta.
Time out, Cult Classic Cage. That's not just for like Starfield or this game. That's kind of games in general, right?
No.
Because games in general don't really come out completely performance ready.
There are
seemingly.
plenty of games that come out performance ready.
Yeah,
Sure, but there's
also
plenty of games that don't too.
Well, but
Yeah.
when it comes down to Xbox, right? If we're looking at Xbox and their games, everyone knows the meta now. Oh, the game is going to come out with no real performance option. That's good. When it comes out day one on Xbox and Game Pass. But guess what? It's going to get ported to PlayStation, and that's when they're going to add all the bells and whistles. That's the meta. Whether you can forget everything else. Everyone knows Xbox is meta now. So now you just had to accommodate for that reality if you care about performance. Now, if all you care about is 30 FPS, that's your bag, then this doesn't pertain to you. But if you care about performance options, why wouldn't you wait? You're not going to get what you want day one. You got to wait till the PlayStation motherfuckers get it. That's when Xbox seems to care about if you're a performance head. That's it.
That's an unfortunate that That's unfortunately true, but also like we see Starfield did the same thing, but I mean
Yeah.
that's yet to even come out to PlayStation. So
Yeah.
I'm just kind of wondering like this is beyond like just PlayStation to me. This is just like me wondering why there's some sort of we got a bright idea 6 to 12 months after a game comes out. When it's like people wanted that from the jump.
Yeah. And
that's the confusing thing to me. Go ahead.
It's it is very confusing because the way that they're doing this, like, you know what people want, clearly. It's just that you're just in a rush to throw it out there before you actually achieve that. Is that what it is? Because like you said, Starfield hasn't come to PlayStation, but Starfield still did the same shit where it's like, okay, well, we're gonna just launch
Redfall did the same thing
and lie. We're gonna launch this and lie and say that, yeah, we wanted this to look exactly like this with running at 30 FPS. And this was the intended goal to begin with. There is no 60, like basically, the typical God Howard bullshit that he spews out his mouth, just for it to end up being like, oh, like a year later, oh, it has a performance mode now. Like, honestly, everyone knows the meta. It may not come to PlayStation necessarily, but they're gonna launch the shit without a performance option at day one, but in a year later, that's what it is. And for me, I care about performance options, but that's particularly why I decide to game on PC. Now, some people care about performance options than they're on console, and that's their only option. Some, but
how tragic! That's like
it's
caring about gourmet and going to McDonald's.
And it's one of those things where you know what the landscape is, at least with Xbox. If you care about Game Pass, you care about Xbox. And, you like their games more than anything else, not necessarily the whole fanboy aspect of it. If you care about the games, you know what the meta is. And at this point, it just seems like, hey, either you're stuck waiting a year for the game to get the patch that you want on the console, or you got to take it elsewhere. You got to take it to PC. That's just kind of just how I see it, unfortunately, accommodating for what they got going on, which is weird because it's almost like, do you really want people to buy your games anymore? Like, is that something you want at all? Because I have less incentive if I'm on console, right? What incentive do I have to buy your game day one if I care about performance? If I care about the game working? Because the way Avowed is running, at least on PC, I can't really speak to console. I haven't played it, but the way Avowed was running on PC was disgusting. Shit like that should not be running like that. And not to shit on Xbox, but the topic is Xbox and how they do business with the gamers. It's just, there is like little incentive sometimes for me to even go out of my way to buy their games day one if they're going to run like ass. If they're going to be Unreal Engine 5 slop, unfortunately. It is a lot of Unreal Engine 5 games. If they just end up kind of just being like one of many, there's less incentive to invest in the full price day one product. And especially if you're on console and you're like, hey, I actually want the performance options. That's why we went to next gen, to have that option. That's what you guys told us. Well, I'm sorry, guys, that's a lie. It may be eventually true, but it doesn't seem like day one from Xbox. That's not a standard for them. The standard is, hey, we're going to shit this out right now. It's going to have no performance options. This is the norm. In a year, we'll announce that, hey, it's going to go, now we got these options that should have been here day one. You know what the meta is. You just have to accommodate for that situation. And I'm not going to tell you that PC is necessarily better in this instance, because sometimes you get a Avowed slop running like the way it did on PC. That's not good either. You're muted, Ham.
Yeah, my daughter came in here for a second, so yeah. No, but I was just saying, like, with that being said, like I have more to add to what you're saying right now, but we're gonna talk about that a little bit later when we talk about the whole Xbox and PC app and stuff like that. Because in my opinion, they got a lot of stuff to kind of figure out and work on. Like just last week on this podcast, we're talking about and I'm sure you're very familiar with it. GG deals.
GG deals?
Oh, don't tell me you don't know about deals. Don't tell me you don't know.
What are you talking about? You mean like Rayman Gaming or
like
it's
like
GGT? It's an
called
aggregator of all
GG.deals.
that stuff. It's
Yeah.
an aggregator of all
okay.
that stuff. So
Yeah, like forward you to the cheapest game or the cheapest way to buy a game to like purchase on Steam and stuff like
Yeah,
that, right?
I got
It's
you.
very much like what do you call it? Like what's that other
It
website
just
that
finds
most
you like the
people?
cheapest deals, period,
Yeah.
across the web.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been doing that shit manually. I'll go to Fanatical, Green Man Gaming, CD Keys, which is the cheapest where? Like I do that manually.
GG deals.
all that.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
It'll
they
find the
aggregate.
cheapest one for you.
So yeah, you should you should definitely get that website and check that out.
I'll peep it.
But as I was saying, so like, but there's all these different code sites, right, where you can buy a game, and we already know, depending on how a game is rated or reviewed or whatever, sometimes the game will launch 20 to 30, sometimes even a wilder price or cheaper on PC compared to a console, right? What is Xbox going to do with their own games? If you're seeing it on GG deals cheaper to purchase via Steam than it would to be able to get with their own platform or with maybe codes on that site for Xbox in particular instead of Steam. And so like, to me, they have that to work on. They just talked about $80 games, which PC players aren't fucking with that.
Yeah.
So it's just like, y'all are moving in you guys are selling video games like it's console, but telling everybody that you're becoming a PC. So it's just like you guys got to figure out some stuff, but I don't want to dig too much into that. We're going to get back to that when we get to talking about the whole Xbox PC, because there was some weird games showing up on there, like Marvel Spider-Man and stuff like that. But I want to pass this over now to Matt, because I went to you last on the last topic, so I want to go to you a little bit earlier. What is your whole thought process and feeling around Senua Saga and just the update coming? It launched their whole identity right now is launching day one into Game Pass, right? But they launch you sometimes a product that is I don't want to call it unfinished, because you can beat the game, but it's not performing to its optimum standard.
Yeah. I mean, I think it kind of comes down to really like Microsoft as a publisher. And I guess, like you mentioned, it is an industry-wide problem, but since we're talking about Xbox, I think it kind of comes down to them as a publisher needing to be they need to be on top of things a little bit more, or a lot more, depending on how you look at it. I think if a game like Starfield, because like I was surprised that they could get that to run at 60. I was very surprised they could do that. But if there was a possibility that they could do that, then maybe you probably should just delay the game and let them work on it so that it comes out as flawless as it possibly can. At the same time, Microsoft's probably sitting there looking like, well, yeah, but then that costs us money. Well, yeah, it does, but that's kind of your problem. That's like general sentiment from people who are buying your products should always be that they're getting the best thing that you can possibly offer. And sometimes that's true, sometimes it's not. We're talking about Hellblade here, where it launches one way, but here we are a year later. You can play it at 60 FPS now, and it's coming to PS5. It's like, well, why not just give them a couple extra months so they can nail it down on Xbox so that it is 60 FPS, and then you can bring it to PS5. You're still in the same situation. You're still releasing the game on PlayStation. You're still going to get whatever money you get from it. Like, I don't know. I'm sure there's logistics behind the scene. I don't know. I don't own fucking Microsoft, but like, there's got to be something that you can do to like mitigate things like this becoming the norm. Because for every game that comes out that's great, it's also we're getting a game that's like You know, you mentioned Redfall, you mentioned Starfield at launch, which like our whole friend group loves Starfield, but it's also like here we go like a couple months later it's 60 FPS. Just work on it a couple months and make it 60 FPS. I mean, I'm good to wait. Like if here's the thing, if we get to Elder Scrolls 6 and they're like it's going to launch at 30 on console and then like a couple months later it's like now it's 60. It's like I could have just waited the extra couple months. It's already been, when did they announce Elder Scrolls 6? Like 2018. It's been 7 years just now, let alone when it comes out, probably another 2-3 years. I can wait a couple extra months. Get the 60 FPS mode in order so that people can actually experience the game that you truly want them to experience. It just seems kind of like a no-brainer to me. But I don't know. I don't run a fucking business.
You don't. Oh, sorry.
All right. So one thing I see in the chat, Fuzzy says you can already buy Xbox games on those sites. Yes, you can. But they're always more expensive than they are for Steam.
They're always,
and that's
they're always a little bit more expensive.
So that's kind of my point, is like they're structuring prices on Xbox for those sites. Yeah, it's nice that you can do it because you flat out, I mean, you're buying PlayStation games on there at MSRP. You're not paying anything less.
Well, that's because they're
on
not
Xbox,
technically...
right? And I get that part, right? And I get that part, but I'm saying Xbox, yeah, sure, you can buy it for cheaper than you could maybe on the Xbox store or whatnot. But if you're gonna actually be kind of fighting for, some sort of, you should get my game, you should get my games here, then they shouldn't be cheaper on another person's platform, or easy to get cheaper on another person's platform. I go to GG Deals right now. I'm sure I could probably find a few different Xbox games that are cheaper for Steam than they would be for buying them for the Xbox itself.
Absolutely.
And that to me is, and I understand there's the whole play anywhere thing, but I don't think that really matters if you're trying to structure yourself to look like a PC.
I think to that, I think Microsoft's at the point where they're like, we don't even really care about we don't care if you buy a game from our store, we don't care. Like I feel like, because they mentioned in that video when we want Windows to be the best gaming platform. They didn't say Xbox. They said Windows. So it's like if you're on Windows and you're going to gg.deals to buy a game for Steam, to buy a game for Xbox, to buy a game for whatever the fuck, they're like, as long as it's our game, I don't give a shit. As long as you're playing our thing, whatever. I think they're at the point now where they really like buy it wherever you want to buy it, however you want to buy it. Obviously, they would probably prefer you to buy it from them, but it's like if you're somebody who's like, I'm going to save 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks.
They still get 70% of that.
Exactly. They're like, whatever. If that's what you want to do, by all means, go ahead and do that. I think they're kind of past the point where they really give a shit about that. Whether that's good or bad, I think they're kind of past that point.
Fair enough. Cozy, your thoughts?
You're talking to the person that plays games windowed.
Yeah, 30 FPS.
It does. I don't care. I don't care. I wouldn't play games windowed and run Sims. My computer just shut down because I keep Sims running constantly. I don't.
Sounds scary. It's horrifying.
Oh, in case people don't know, even like ancient Sims is still one of the most challenging games to keep running on your computer with every pack. It is like legit hard as fuck on your computer. It's slowly like you'll watch the RAM climb every day, just a little. It's
Every
like
day.
steals your RAM. Yeah.
It's open for multiple days.
Oh yeah, you keep it running. Sims. Oh, and not even that. It doesn't matter if you close it or not because it eats. It like implodes on itself, even if you don't keep it running. So you might as well just keep it running. The only difference is it eats your RAM, instead of just eating itself. Like, so your sim saves without mods, because I play without mods for the challenge, eventually kill themselves. And so you have to delete them and start over. But anyway, so basically, I don't care. I literally will play a game on a slideshow. You're talking to the wrong person. But
That
people
damn.
who are like, man, I admit, shut up.
Everybody's like,
I
everybody's losing it.
I admit that I am a little bit of a PC elitist, and that I think that people on console who are like, my performance, are like. I was not joking about thinking people who play on consoles that whine and complain about performance and like not being able to get 60 FPS and stuff like that are basically like people going to McDonald's and complaining that they're not getting grade A beef.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
that's true.
it's crazy because like I get that, but at the same time too, like these companies sold people on a lie, and that's the problem as well. Like they were flexing all sorts of 128 hertz and fucking 8 up to 8K. Like get the fuck out of here. Like, and it's like people should know better, but this is obviously marketing
Consumers are
lies.
dumb. Yeah, consumers are dumb. The 8K thing, we already know that like people talking about like you don't have an 8K display. You barely even have a 4K display. Come on. But I do feel sorry. I do have to feel some sympathy actually for people that are dumb enough to fall for advertisement. I admit that I have a very low bar, and I'm okay with that. But I understand people that have high bars getting upset because they were sold on this promise of. And I mean, to be fair, I haven't spent it, but I randomly have like $25 on my PlayStation account because of I bought a Vita.
Fire.
Oh no! Do you remember that there was a class action lawsuit, and
Oh wow.
yeah, there was. I don't remember what it was for, but I was like, I'll just take the money. Yeah,
great.
and Sony lost the class action lawsuit for something for the Vita. I don't remember what it was, but I randomly have money on my account from that class action lawsuit.
Nice. Fire.
So I get it, but yeah, I don't care. My bar is very low.
Yeah, I mean, Ham, you were kind of discussing a little bit, how does Microsoft compete with Steam? And it's like, I don't think that that's possible, bro. They would have to kill fucking Gabe. They would have to literally kill him. And just let whoever takes over afterwards fuck it up on their own accord. Like, that would be their only way. Like, you think that I'm going to go to the Microsoft store to buy a video game? Are you fucking kidding me? On PC? Dude, I would rather go back to console and be told what to do entirely before I buy a game off the Microsoft store on PC. It is poison, the thought of it.
Hear me out though. Matt and we were having this conversation when they had the console companion app. It was perfect.
It was great.
It was perfect.
It was great.
It was beautiful. It was absolutely amazing. And then they killed that and introduced the Xbox app. And the Xbox app was garbage. But if you ever use the console companion app, it was basically the old Xbox dashboard. So you had like all your friends, everything. You had the store, everything. And you can just do everything off of that. And it worked. Everything about it worked. And then they killed it off. They were like, they stopped updating, and you're like, okay, it's weird that they haven't updated this in like a year and a half. And then they were like, oh, we're discontinuing this. Go look at the Xbox app. And the console companion app, it was basically a lot of the stuff that the Xbox app does. Like you could buy games off of it, and if the
kind of
game
more efficient
was supported, it would just play on your PC and all that jazz. But it looked very different. But it had like all your friends list, and it was like more functional because you could literally join parties off of it without having to go to like the game bar. You could do all those things, everything off of it, and it was beautiful. and then they killed it. And I remember being like, why did they kill this? And then when they showed me the Xbox app, I was like, this is garbage compared to this console companion app. And most people didn't know about the console companion app because they had it for a while, but it was so much better. It was functional. It was amazing.
Their issue is just Windows and it's bloatware. That is the main thing. If you want people, look, Steam OS is coming. When Windows, if they don't fix something, they're on borrowed time. Like, better to have people on your OS using Steam than people abandoning your OS altogether. Like that's their. You're like, dude, if they're trying to compete with getting people to buy games off of their store versus Steam, you are a loser. You're never going to win that battle. You have right now, you have Windows. The mass majority of users are on Windows. You could fight this battle and keep this battle. Like, keep this in your house. You can keep Steam in your house. That's realistic. But they have to fix how shit runs on Windows. It's been garbage since when it's like every Windows update since 7 has been a new introduction of bullshit, or just a new way of thinking about bullshit. Like that's just Windows 8 everyone hates, Windows 10 everyone hates, but it's slightly better today, but it's still ass. Windows 11 fucking bullshit. Like, you could keep people in your house, but they're just going to use other people's resources while they're in your house. That's just what it is. You have to think of things realistically. They're never going to beat Steam in terms of getting people to buy games on their platform. You just got to make your platform worth being on before Steam swipes the rug from under you. Because Steam has proven that a private company, if they have direction, can outdo a publicly traded company that is just going everywhere at once. And that's Windows. And it's caused people to literally treat Microsoft like their child almost. Like, we talk about Microsoft like they're a budget company, but that's because of how inefficient they are at doing what they need to do. And it's crazy how we treat this multi-billion-dollar corporation like a child that doesn't know what the fuck it's doing, when they should know more than anyone else, and they should be doing the right thing, but they don't.
Yeah, they should definitely have a more cohesive experience. I will say,
they should have more of a just a structure. Like in my opinion, like, with the type of money they can throw around, and honestly, some of the histories that they have behind the IPs that they own, or even relationships. Shut up, Ghost. Even when they they've been around and buddy with a lot of industry vets, so it's not like they don't have a lifeline to call if they have questions about certain things. They've worked hand in hand with Epic for a long time with Unreal Engine and stuff like that. So, like, to me, it's just like, with as much as you have, like, in your repertoire, I'm thinking that you should be kind of the poster child of what should be happening. Instead, it's like you're kind of what they called on Always Sunny in Philadelphia, they're essentially a wild card all the time. And it's just like, why are you a wild card when you have, like, the most power of, like, any of these companies?
I think
it just seems weird.
Personally, I'm like pretty OS agnostic, but the only reason I actually enjoy gaming on Windows is legit. Steam takes care of a lot of that stuff, but I don't actually like being tied to Steam. And my favorite platform is GOG. Linux, Steam's Proton takes care of most of that stuff, but Linux itself isn't very great for gaming still, without you having to do work. And if I still wanted to work while I played games, I would still be on a Mac.
I don't want any OS outside of Windows. I'm happy with Windows. I'm just like Linux, meh. Definitely don't want Apple. I'm rocking with Windows just because it's the most familiar to me.
I get it,
Yeah.
being familiar. But I agree that it has absolutely a lot of bloat, and I would like to see a version that
seems to have
Windows,
a lot of work,
but is thinned down, less whatever.
Well, there's like Tiny 11 and stuff out there.
But yeah, my big
There
issue
are
is
there are compact versions of Windows out there. You just have to look for it. And a lot of people don't care to look.
Which is exactly why Microsoft needs to be like. That should be something that Microsoft's just straight up offering you. Like if you were to go to the website and they're like,
exactly,
hey, do you only,
right.
Do you,
You
only
shouldn't
care
have to
about
look for it.
gaming? Do you only care about gaming? Well, then download this with less bloatware.
They should have
versus,
options.
Yeah.
Because like I get the worry about Steam taking over. But and I know that's like a pressing concern. It's obvious in a lot of their actions. But the big thing is they need to make an OS that is less.
Wait, what's a low? I want to know what the low bar is. What's the low bar that things work and it has a lot of support? Because
for what?
I mean, that's usually everybody's excuse to go to PlayStation is because it just works. It doesn't matter if it's better on PC or something like that. Just play it over there, right? Like, if that's like, what do you mean? What's a low bar?
For me?
Low bar. No, I think he's talking to an 8 in the chat.
Oh.
Yeah, because I think. Oh, he's talking to Fuzzy. Oh my goodness. I'm sitting here thinking he's listening to what I'm saying. He's going back and forth with it.
Oh, like I'm confused. Matt, I will forever say this because we had this conversation. I am forever confused as to why they didn't just flesh out the console companion app. The console companion app never crushed. It was very light on your PC. It literally, you could open up, like if you had an Xbox, you could literally cloud game from the console companion app.
Yes.
You could not cloud game. You could cloud game,
remote
but you could
play.
also remote play. You could cloud game. It had all the Xbox app functionality, but it was light and just kind of existed in the background. It was so amazing, and I still to this day do not understand why they didn't why did they got rid of it. It also was less obtuse. The menus were easy to understand. It had like a sidebar that had here is all your stuff, and it had the main window where you could look. And it had the old Xbox layout, the one that still had like, showed your friends clips and stuff like that they shared, so you didn't have to go look for them. So it was like it was just a nice little. It worked, and so whoever was like, hey, we need something more modern looking that was less functional was dumb as.
And they said he has 8 PCs running Windows. You probably telling me to chill out. Anyways,
but no, they need to do something, and all they're doing is like, and I understand.
Well, they are, and that's what's interesting.
I work at a giant company, so I understand bloat because I legit spend half of my time at this giant company that I work at complaining about how they have people, and I'm like, why do you have an entire shift of people that are useless? They do nothing. They make more work for the rest of us. And I feel like Microsoft as a company is a giant company that has a lot of people that are useless and do nothing. Like, what do you do again for this place? Why are you here? You're probably just like.
Well, hold on now, Cozy. Hold on now, because we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. We got about 25 minutes left of the show, but we'll get back to that. So I want you to hold that thought.
Okay, I'll go back to the all blah 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 blah. Yeah, we get it. Microsoft updates their games late. You should understand that. And good for PS5 players, all 5 of them who will be playing Hellblade 2. Or 15.
All right.
My bad.
Yeah, you're bad. Got it. All right. Well, the next thing that we're actually going to talk about is it in the next couple of topics. Actually, I think the rest of the topics really pretty are going to be kind of revolved around Xbox. So let's go with one happy one before we start to work our way down.
Didn't we finish on a good note?
we'll finish on a good note, but there'll be a bad note before the good note. But one of the good notes is, or for some people, the good note. I'm still trying to figure out if this is even a necessary product for myself. But you know, the Xbox and Meta has teamed up to come out with a new Xbox Meta Quest 3S. And Matt, I know that you were somebody that was quite interested in this Xbox Meta Quest. Why is something like this necessary for somebody like you now, seeing that Meta this device has pretty much been out for a minute? It just hasn't had a controller with it. Like so why is it now interesting all of a sudden?
Well, I don't like for real. I don't even really need the control. Like I got a bunch of controllers back there. You can't see them, but I got a bunch of controllers back there and a bunch of controllers in front of me also. But like the because a couple years ago, I was talking like I wouldn't mind getting a VR headset, and I think it was you or somebody in our friend group who mentioned the MetaQuest, and I was like, that looks cool because also augmented reality as well. It was like that looks cool. But it was like $500, and I'm like, yeah, $500 to buy something that I don't know if I'm going to be using it like it's $500. I don't know if I'm going to be using that enough to justify that price. And I kind of just forgot about it, honestly. And then this came out, the MetaQuest, which is different than the one I was looking at like years ago, which was the MetaQuest 3. This is the 3S. And so when I saw this, I was like, wait, a 3S? Is this just like the thing that they're doing with Xbox? No, they have a 3S. That is also like the Xbox one's like 400. The regular 3S is like 300. The difference is like you get a special edition controller and the 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate with the Xbox one. So I'm thinking like $300. That's a good deal to get to just try VR and see if it's something I care about. Maybe I don't end up using it as much as I would like to use it, but it's better than spending the 500 and finding that out that way. But I was telling you, Ham, if I go to order, because I'll probably get this like late next week, I would assume, because that's after I get paid. But if I go to get this next week and it's available, the Xbox one, I'll get the Xbox one. If it's not, then I'll get the regular one. But I mean, it was the fact that first of all, there are some differences with the Xbox one. Like I know the head strap has like a little thing in the back where you can adjust it, which seems nice. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested in this, and I've been interested in it for a while. It's just I kind of put it to the side because it was always very expensive, very expensive.
All right, so it definitely seems interesting to you. For me, I have the Meta Quest 2. I'm not sure if I really need it because I also have the X-Real glasses, and those already do AR, and I can already plug that into like my Steam Deck. I can buy a little adapter where I can plug it into my actual console so I can play them natively instead of, you know, through Game Pass Cloud or, you know, just through whatever internet. Like I can download stuff natively, which I don't think you can do on that MetaQuest headset. And yeah, I just like it's a good looking headset, and I wouldn't mind having it just for the sakes of, you know, being a collector and stuff like that. But as for usefulness, I do see usefulness um in the mode where you're able to look through and see your room and have multiple windows open. I'd love to be able to have, you know, like a football game open while I'm playing, you know, my actual game or something like that, and have it within the same headset. That would be pretty cool to be able to do. Which you can do that kind of stuff. I'm just not sure how much I need to run out and get it right now. And from that thought, I'm gonna move on to you, Cassie, because I want to see, like, do you see any point in something like this, whether it's the Xbox version or just the Quest 3S in general? Like, where's your head with VR and how that's going right now for yourself?
I just think that it's not really a thing and that's ever gonna take off. It's just a niche. It's cool that it's more this one's definitely more price. That's it's nicer for the consumer to not have to fucking throw through $500 in there just to have a good VR experience or a reasonable VR experience. But dude, I like for me, it's like I'm scared to try that shit. Like genuinely. There's some games where they have like light glitches that just fuck me up for all day. With major migraines. So the thought of this is just scary as fuck, especially with developer negligence, literal developer negligence, especially when it comes to people that suffer with epilepsy. I don't have epilepsy, but you have a visual glitch that flashes bright white light. I'm gonna have a major migraine all fucking day, and it's like it brews. I had to actually stop playing Visions of Mana because of that, and that was one of my most anticipated games of the year it came out. But it was last year. I had to stop playing. I was scared to play it after that. I had such a migraine just because of visual glitch. It was horrible. And the thought of this is it's just scary because there's just so much developer negligence just with visual aesthetics alone that I don't know. Like I can't speak to it because it's something I've never really. I was curious, especially when it was new, but I just the curiosity has. I'm over it. Like I'm not curious about it anymore. For me, I never liked the Wii. For me, gaming is either it's one of two things. Sometimes both at once, or sometimes this and sometimes that. To me, gaming is a visual social hobby, or it's a relaxation hobby. This does none of that for me. This is like the ultimate nerd
I
shit
feel
where it's
that.
like you have to be in a dungeon by yourself. What the way I feel about that, like in a room that's spacious, where it's like you're doing the most dorky shit ever. And shout out to you if you do that, man. Like, the nerds make the world go around. The nerds made the shit popular. All this shit popping. So shout out to the nerds, but it's just not my bag at all. It doesn't fit into what I get into gaming for. Either I play video games to relax, like our parents, our unks and shit. Unk parks his ass in the couch to watch TV. That's his pastime back in, that's the old pastime. To me, the new pastime is gaming. That's always been my hobby for just chilling, relaxing, kicking my feet up. Or like I said, it's a social hobby, and the VR headset does none of that for me.
Honestly, I could see my wife getting me this for my upcoming birthday this August and just being like, here you go.
Stop having birthdays.
And then then I'll be like, oh, thanks. And I'll be really excited and I'll play it a little bit, and then she'll end up using it more than me. Because I think that because she's a big time sit at the computer and try to multitask. So I think she'd love having all them windows and stuff like that. I think she'd like it more than me, but she'd get it for me as a gift.
Yeah.
And then use the shit out of it
That
herself.
sounds like
Kind of like when she kind of like for Father's Day when she bought me that 9800 X3D and the AM5 motherboard and the 32 gigabytes of RAM. I'm like, you want a new computer, don't you? I'm just like, okay, yeah, you want me to build this computer. You're going to let me use my computer whenever I want to use it. But when I'm not using it, you're going to use that computer, the new one. And then whenever I need to use it, then you're going to move back to my 3080 computer and act like nothing happened. So, all right, whatever.
That sounds so right.
All right, Ant-Man says, which one is TSWS? Everybody that's here, pretty much, whenever you're on this channel, you are part of TSWS Game. And shout out to Cassie. She is here. She is TSWS. It is what it is.
Yes, you heard it straight from Hamothy Solo.
Yeah, I am but I am the person that opened this channel. So if you want to call a person that, it's either me or Loke. Okay? So, and Loke isn't here today, but hopefully he'll be back next week. I don't know, brother, run on African time, so it could be a couple weeks. So I don't know.
Oh man, come on, dog.
Anyways,
Goddamn, son.
He's not lying.
That's
Let
a
my
thing
man
over
live,
there,
bro. Let my man live, brother.
It sounds racially horrible in America, but that is a thing that that's actually a thing that they use out there.
If you work with a lot of people from around
If you're
the
on
world,
time, you're crazy.
If you work with a lot of people from around the world, basically, like it seems like only white people have like one time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Puerto Rican time is definitely close to black time.
I've heard
Ain't that far off, man. It's the same shit.
Vietnamese time from Vietnamese people. I've heard Guatemalan time from Guatemalan people. I'm like, what? All of y'all basically are saying, yeah, we're fucking late.
Yeah. Loke will tell me if the party starts at 9, I'll be there around midnight. That's what Loke tells me. If the party starts at 9, I'll be there around
Fashionably
midnight.
late just means women time. That's it.
Oh, anyone play Dragon Age Inquisition?
Oh, I mean, geez Louise.
If you play Dragon Age Inquisition, when you go to like that one fancy city, if you have to basically, if you're just a little late to everything, you are fashionably on
Roshan?
time, and the game rewards you for being fashionably on time by being late to these events. And it's like, oh, okay.
Roshan says African church is like 4 or 5 hours long. And I've actually heard that before.
That's a
Hey,
wow. That's crazy.
That's like Pentecostal times 2. That's
It's like a
ridiculous.
whole like some people when they hear, this is the Lord's day, they take it literal, right? Like it's
but
all day.
So if you know anything about American like Pentecostals, they have long ass church. So that would basically be like Pentecostal times 2, because Pentecostal church basically starts at 9 a.m. ish and goes until like 2, and then but that's between like Sunday school, early service, then regular service, and then they do an intermission, and then they do night service. I know this because
we have a fun question for us all from the chat from Ant-Man saying, quick question. I have a spare i5.
Shut up.
1600K.
10600.
No. We can all just say shut
why
up.
can't I read
It
this?
would be. Shut up. You know it would be. Shut up. You know it would be.
Jesus Christ.
Shut up.
I know,
Liz.
I can't even read it. I can't read it.
Because when
all right, fine.
When you lead with that sort of processor and that GPU, there's no way you can have a bad retro gaming PC. Legit. That's still a modern, decent PC.
Yeah, that'll still play games at like
That's still a modern,
1080p, like
decent
medium
PC.
setting.
That's like being like, oh, what can I go into a low end gaming community with that?
Nah,
computer?
son,
They're gonna look at you like, the fuck? My
Just
low
as-
end gaming PC is 10 years old.
Just stay on Unreal Engine 4 and you'll live. But other than that, you deviate from that, you cook, brother.
That's because everyone switches is doing like UE5, hail UE5, and UE5 isn't quite as glorious.
No, that shit is ass. The problem is, like, with Unreal Engine 5, from what I've seen and from people talking about it, basically developers, technically, if they want to get it right, they have to essentially relearn how to develop to account for lighting, because the way Unreal Engine 5 does lighting is retarded. So a lot of them ran into Unreal Engine 5 because they were told, hey, Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5 is an easy transition. Yep. That's not true. That's a lie. That's a lie. It's easy to start making a game on there for sure. And I've watched some of my friends, they're making a game. Like one of my boys making a SOCOM clone, like a successor to SOCOM. You can make games. You can make games on there, but it is different from Unreal Engine 4. And a lot of game developers have struggled with basically changing how they make games since all they've done.
A lot of it. I know a lot of it's from like bloat.
Yes.
A lot of it's from just like bloat and stuff like that because they have to be so flexible to be used by everybody. So when you're good for everybody, you're not really good for anybody in
Nope.
particular.
There's a reason the transition from other Unreal engines was smooth. And they've been talking about Unreal Engine 5 for ages, but the switch has been slow because people realize, oopsie, it's just not. You know, I hate the unified engine system because people ignore the fact that engines exist for a reason and some things are better than others. So whenever I hear people complaining about an engine and be like, this is just UE this, UE that, I'm like, shut up, you know nothing about game
If
development.
you is there like a chat that I could drop like a video in, not to watch now, but if you're actually curious about
I
what
am
the fuck is
curious.
open, what the fuck is the deal?
I know, but
there should
I'm
be
curious to see all the videos.
Private chat up in the
there's a
corner.
private chat right there, and then I can share it to the actual stream.
Oh, but anyway, to say my opinions on
Or are you
MetaQuest.
trying to get it for us to watch?
If
now.
you guys are curious, not right now, but like in the future,
Okay.
you guys can actually understand the fuck shit with Unreal Engine, specifically a 5.
Why is it raining, Matt? Are you getting rain?
This video is
sunny.
crazy. I'll just send it to all y'all.
It's sunny over here. Probably gonna rain
But,
later tonight though. If it's
Yep,
raining
because
for
I'm
you.
getting rain.
If you're curious to why Unreal Engine 5 is retarded and why developers struggle to make games for it, a lot of it has to do with the lighting.
Oh no,
and
I'm
having
excited.
and if you're and this really explains why there's so much stuttering and bullshit like that with Unreal Engine 5 and why it just sucks.
Golly. You mean I'm gonna have to go down early in the morning and look at the river and hope it rises enough to flood rich people's houses? Oops, did I say that out loud? Anyway, so my opinions on the MetaQuest.
This video starts out mad weird. I can say that already. Jesus,
I would just like to say that I agree with Matt about AR because I think the problem with VR is I don't care about VR. I am always going to be disappointed that Microsoft was like, no, not that Microsoft was no on VR, that they had the Kinect and they said, fuck it. And the Kinect was the perfect launch point for mixed reality. Oof.
Yeah.
If I drop off, no, it's because I lost power. Yeah, so
damn.
like it's coming down. Like when I missed your show because I basically lost power because of that crazy storm. Like not last week, but the week before. Was it the week last week, or was it the week before? Whatever. I lost crazy power. I literally watched my transformer blow up. So I'm excited ish about MetaQuest 3, but I kind of want one not just to have one to play around with, but to kind of like try my hand at mixed reality. I just wish mixed reality involved the Kinect and not just AR. Because I feel like VR, like, you know, when you said that's some nerd shit. That's true. That's absolutely true. And I don't think it will advance as long as it's just VR. I think
Yeah.
MetaQuest is the, as much as people who are into VR talk down on it, it's the best option for people who want to push gaming into an experience that can be something more. But we need cameras where we can actually see ourselves in games. We need devices that can be seen in games. We need all of that for us to experience VR glory. And I don't feel like we're getting there. I feel like they've just plateaued at VR, even though the MetaQuest, part of its selling is that it can do mixed reality. I don't feel like there are enough experiences that take advantage of that, and I feel like not enough experiences take advantage. They have AR, but they need to be able to incorporate like external cameras and all sorts of things to make the experience of that experience better. as opposed to what it is now. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't
All
think
right.
what gaming is, like what people want out of gaming, especially with like TikTok brain motherfuckers, they don't give a fuck about VR. Like you're not gonna make mainstream people care about VR like that. I guess unless the world is literally burning and they just want to see something else entirely. So
I think they could, but the problem is it's still just VR gaming for the most part is still just very flat. Like they talk about like VR enthusiasts will talk about pancake gaming, but if you're just doing VR, you're still not getting the full spectrum. Imagine having a room, you have cameras that are set up that capture you in the game, in the room, and you can have like you can pick objects and like tag them with, like say QR codes.
how many people could do that though? That's the thing. How many could do first off, how many people can
That's still
create that scenario?
insanely niche.
And how many people are willing to want to do that? Most people are just honestly, people are lazy fucks. I am the
I don't have a
laziest.
room to do that.
I am 100%. I'm the perfect example. I am a fucking sloth. You're telling me, oh, if I want this perfect VR experience, you could set up these cameras in the room. I have a game room. I could fucking gut that bitch and put the cameras in there, whatever. I could do it. You think I want to waste my time doing that shit?
I think the problem right now, I get
crazy.
what you're saying, but the problem right now is
I'd need an empty room. I can't do that.
the problem right now is no one who's working on these VR experiences is really trying for these. Like for example, what if all you had to do was like turn on your camera, allow your camera to access this? Like you would like any other like app like this, like this chat. Like would you allow your camera to access this? And you say yes. And then bam, it pops your camera into the game.
Yeah.
And you could pick the object. Like you wouldn't have to actually have like a physical you could just be like, oh, any object that would you allow your object to yes. I say yes.
Because that's so far in the future. Like I don't even want to talk about that right now. Jeez,
I don't even think it's not. I don't think it's not. It's just
it is. It is. It is though.
No.
That's what I'm saying. But she's talking about as like a normal person using that. Like no normal person is having any of that.
No, what I'm saying is you're on a right now. What if the same way you allowed your camera to like access this application so you can do this broadcast was like as simple as would you allow your camera to access this for your VR headset? What if it was that simple? And it can be that simple. That's what I'm saying. It can be. And what if, you know how you can make your own QR code for like Cash App or whatever? What if it was that simple? You could just make your own QR code and it could interact with your MetaQuest. And it would be like, would you allow this QR code? Like you wouldn't have to like go through like crazy steps. You just basically like, I have my.
That does sound like crazy steps already, though. It already sounds like crazy steps.
It sounds. It's
no, not for some, for majority.
It sounds like crazy
for
steps
majority people.
But no. It doesn't sound like a crazy step for people who are already VRing.
Yeah, but that's not enough right now.
Right, and it's not and I think you can't get enough if you can't convince people that's right now VR is very boring, and I think that's the problem. Like if you take those steps and get the initial people who already are into VR to just accept mixed reality and just like embrace like small mixed reality experiences that are actually good. Like right now VR is still most VR is still just VR, and VR in and of itself I'm going to say is boring. But mixed reality is a lot more engaging, and if you can get good mixed reality experiences, you can translate that to like the dedicated VR audience, and they'll be like, "Oh shit, mixed reality is where it's at." Because the MetaQuest already won, right? So we already have people. The MetaQuest is already the big VR thing, but so the next step should be them getting people on board with mixed reality, where you can just easily integrate your devices, like your camera, external cameras, external like create your own QR codes. You don't have to worry about like non-enthusiasts. You just worry about like creating the like crazy experiences for enthusiasts, and other people naturally tend to follow because like right now VR isn't interesting enough for even other people to follow, I think. But if you create that
Dorian
experience,
Grace.
what?
I said
Yeah,
Dorian Grace said VR has a segment that's popping. It's just weirdos.
Oh man.
honestly, I
That's
mean that is
cold.
true. That is true. That is true.
That's cold.
He's not raw, bro.
I've been down the VR rabbit hole
Oh
because I've
man,
been
that's
down the VR
cold.
rabbit hole, and yes, it is a lot of very,
Sure.
very like very FBI watch list people. Um, but no, I honestly think the problem. I like the idea of like, oh, Microsoft doing this, but I think honestly they should have like kept support for like the Kinect doing things. Because the Kinect had PC support and it was one of the early mixed reality devices. I think VR, as long as it stays VR, is going to be a garbage niche. I think it can grow if it tries to grow as mixed reality.
Wow, Cozy, you had a lot more on that to say than I anticipated. I tell you what,
Because I
goodness
follow mixed reality.
gracious.
I follow mixed reality. Sorry, it's like weird because I don't seem like someone who'd be into it. I am into mixed reality. The problem is the experiences aren't there. Like, imagine you're playing
Fair
Sea of
enough.
Thieves and you're getting drunk in Sea of Thieves, which you can do, and it's not fun because it actually feels like being really drunk. But you strap on that
Oh my
headset.
goodness.
Get seasick.
No. Let me tell you, the first time I think I ever felt like
Right.
the first time I ever felt like, oh, is this what motion sickness felt like? I like took like 10 grogs until I could barely stand up straight. And I was like tilting over. I'm like this in Sea of Thieves, like, and I'm holding the controller like this, but I'm also like this holding the controller. Because why is the game like this? I'm like, why? Why am I tilted this way? But imagine those experiences in VR. We need to better VR. Make VR great again.
All right. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Again. Jeez Louise.
Oh, by
Well,
the way,
that's a perfect.
so Vance
What,
lives down like
Cozy?
the street. Vance's house is down the street, so there's this weird checkpoint.
Wait, what?
The vice president, his house is like down the street, so there's like a weird checkpoint.
Oh, that's cool.
Gotcha. All right. And then I'm just gonna say this because we don't really have time to sit and talk about it. But World of Warcraft is coming out. I guess it came out today on the PC.
It's old Warcraft
Game
though.
Pass. Yeah, it's all the remasters or some of them. But thoughts on that? Anybody even care?
If you got them on GOG, you got the better version. Sorry. I got them on GOG.
Mysterious in the chat asks you, Cozy, if you're sure that it wasn't you that was drunk or high.
No. Like if you've ever played Sea of Thieves and just drink a bunch of grog in Sea of Thieves. You drink a bunch of grog. You just keep downing them. You get seriously drunk to the point where it's a first-person game and you'll be walking, but you're not walking straight at all. You're like walking at an angle and like it tilts this way and that way randomly. It's literally you're like, oh, it feels like being actually like shit-faced in real life.
Yeah, it reminds me of Nico in
You've done it
Grand Theft
before?
Auto 4.
You've done it before?
But anyways, no. I'm just saying like the movements of it just reminds me of Nico from Grand Theft Auto 4. Like he is drunk. You get in the car to drive. Driving was terrible. It was just nuts. But shout out to Mysterious for saying that. I thought that was funny, so I had to repeat that. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't already. Share this out if you get a chance to. But definitely hit that like button and subscribe if you can. But Ant-Man asked a question earlier. Said he could hear a bird, so there's Cozy right there with showing off the bird. But Ant-Man also says, and I thought this was funny. He says this is it's on the screen right now. He says, "Is PC VR better than PlayStation VR?"
Absolutely.
I tried PS4 VR. This is my second year on PC, and I'm just gonna say this right now. I'm not gonna sit here and crap on the PlayStation VR, but one thing I am gonna say is they essentially stopped supporting it. They've stopped supporting it. And even one of the most popular VR games out there, being Beat Saber, is not being supported on either the PS4 version of the VR or the PS5 version of the VR. So whether it's better or not is up to you to kind of determine. But if you're looking for something that's going to continuously get support, I would look towards the PC VR. And also, it sounds like you're kind of a novice and new to VR. So I would almost recommend, or if not highly recommend, probably getting the Meta Quest, because it's something that you can plug into your computer, but then also unplug from your computer and use wherever you want. So I think it's the perfect kind of beginner's VR experience, especially if you don't know whether you want to spend a crazy amount of money. Just get the 3S and call it a day.
Hamothy is speaking facts, nothing but facts. Absolutely. So the problem, PS4 VR was peak VR for PlayStation. PS5 kind of was a letdown. Not only because it didn't support all the VR games on PS4.
Had great hardware though.
Golly, great. The PS5 hardware is great, but the problem is the MetaQuest is more diversified and more there. It's more there. It's not as like the fidelity, not as great or whatever, but the fact that it's a standalone device and also can be used as a auxiliary device on your computer makes it a lot better than the PlayStation VR. So yeah, if you're on PC, second year on PC, go get ahead and settle on the MetaQuest. And if you want to get something different down the line, you can. But I don't feel like if you're interested in VR, you can the MetaQuest will be a miss at all.
Yeah, it's
Also,
crazy.
yeah,
It's
go ahead, Cassie.
No, I was just saying, it's crazy how PSVR really showed how restarting, starting a new generation can kill all of your momentum. Like you really have to work to get to start from the bottom, and PSVR going to VR2 really showed that. Like generations are kind of just the thought of that is like going out the window, and I think PSVR2 dying essentially because of that. Really shows that.
I will forever say Sony should have forced their VR studio to make PlayStation Home 2.
Yeah, that would have been.
I honestly think that, because I would have been like, shut up, take my money, I'm buying a PS5 just for PlayStation Home, and it should have had all the same features as the OG PlayStation Home. They should have made, like, the PlayStation streaming services, you should have been able to share them in like a theater, and like just like you and your other VR buddies going to theater and watching a movie together. There could have been so much options. I would have just forced them. I'd be like, I don't care what you're trying to make in VR. You're making PlayStation Home.
I think the biggest loser for PlayStation VR 2 was that it came out with no backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
And talk about a momentum killer. You have no backwards compatibility, and those games that were on the previous headset were legendary to people.
I remember.
Why would they want to? It's just Twan told us, like our buddy Twan from Matt's channel told us when he played Astrobot on PlayStation VR on PlayStation 4, it was so good it made that man cry.
But
that made that man cry. You can't forward that experience over to the PlayStation VR 2. I don't understand how you just leave all those games behind. You left a ton of games in the store that could be continuously purchased to the next like that. To me, that just made no sense.
About how they didn't do like, hey, we require Astrobot to also function in VR. Like, I would forever be
Facts.
confused because Astrobot only blew up because of the VR experience. Let's be honest. Because people talk about Astrobot, Game of the Year. Like, 2 million people bought Astrobot. No one cares about Astrobot. Astrobot blew up because of VR. Not because of Astrobot. Yeah, you can talk about like, it won Game of the Year, but no one played it. If they made that game VR, I
Jeff
guarantee.
Keighley played it.
Yeah, Jeff Keighley played it.
Yeah, Jeff Keighley and 5 other people, but
He loved it so much it won Game of the Year.
yeah, you know, and I will ever like I think I'm more angry about that game not making a VR sequel. Like, yeah, it should have been available to VR too. They should have been like, hey, gotta make it cool in VR too. You can make it
Twan
like
would have loved
whatever.
it.
Like, because that's where the game initially blew up. No matter what anyone says, Astrobot initially blew up as a VR game. And
But I
that's
think,
why it didn't get those explosive number of sales as like a flat game, because it was at its heart, like, people that cared about it were like the VR people.
I mean, the problem with the new Astrobot game is specifically because, well, the audience that likes that type of stuff, you will not port that game to that audience. Like the Switch, if you put Astrobot on a Switch 2, bro, that probably sells Switch 2s.
I also think that I'm gonna admit I may sound like a little bit of a hater because I did kind of hate on it. Not because of Astrobot, because I think a lot of it required nostalgia. So I don't even get that. Like, a lot of it required nostalgia, and also the fact that it won for the art design was like next to
What about
Neva.
one art design?
Next to Neva. If you look at Neva, you'll understand why the fuck.
Bro, I tell you what, God bless Jeff Keighley,
Neva
because
was
nobody
literally
else is
done.
doing that.
Neva
No one
done
else
this.
is doing
Neva
that.
was done by the people that did Gree. And if you've looked
Man,
at if you looked at either of those games drip pure art.
Jeff Keighley is different.
But
He's
no.
different, bro.
But yeah, my big issue was like I don't understand why Astrobot didn't have a VR version. Like, it's
Very
like
artful. It's an
PlayStation
artful
gave up.
escape.
PlayStation gave up on No, I think Astrobot was no, I don't think it was a great game of the year, because I don't think it got people who didn't already care about like platformers to play a platformer. But I think
Dorian Gray with the hate. Jeez Louise.
I honestly agree with that, but I honestly think the
It
biggest
This is
seems
an
like it.
industry plant.
It seems like it was.
But I think my biggest issue with the PSVR is like it felt like what's the game all over again?
Astro Spice.
It felt like the PSVR feels like a Vita situation all over again.
I really like the
Fair
Vita.
enough.
The Vita, you know,
Well,
swear the Vita had some of the greatest games. Mod Nation Racers, Little Big Planet Vita is still chef's kiss. One of the best experiences you will ever have. It was Little Big Planet, but on the Vita. It had touch controls and it also the work people put into making those games. I swear. That's also why I don't trust PlayStation's online experience.
I'm going to hit the last topic now, which I'm going to put these two things together.
Shut up!
Which is layoffs and it's a weird two things to put together. It's the layoffs and Microsoft adding more PC support that's going to kind of essentially bring your Steam library to be accessible through the Xbox app. Or all your libraries, yeah.
Who's on first?
Of course.
Who's on first? What's on second?
All your libraries. But of course, the most popular one is going to be Steam.
Yes.
You know, Cozy, you're motoring right now. So what are you, Cozy? What are your thoughts with seeing all these different platforms being aggregated to the Xbox app? It's not exactly something new because Steam has done this for quite some time now with being able to, access a launcher to be able to turn on a game. So what is your thoughts on now Xbox trying to do this?
I appreciate it. The thing is, 9 times out of 10, I guess I'm one of the weird PC gamers because I am not a Steam lover. Half the time, the reason I default to Steam is specifically because it has the solutions for like issues with games. But I'm not like a Steam lover. But I really don't like the Xbox app. I hate it because as we talked about with Matt, the console companion app worked. It didn't crash. It didn't randomly spike my RAM. And I'm like, why though? I haven't actually played a game today. Why did you suddenly spike my RAM and crash my computer? It literally will crash my computer occasionally. And I don't get it.
Damn.
It's
I've never had that issue.
okay, so maybe it's also
You're also not running a game 24/7.
Hundreds
of tabs.
There's
Shut up.
There's that.
Oh.
There is that. I am a normal person.
802 tabs. We're not talking about my 802 tabs. Okay? That's
too many tabs, Cozy.
Cozy just has fucking hundreds of tabs open. Why isn't my app working right? This bricked my PC.
No, the console companion app did not care that I had 800 tabs open. The console companion app
maybe I'm gonna say something controversial, Cozy. Maybe it should have. It probably should have cared.
Someone's got to contain that ass. You're crazy.
But also, are you guys on the insider build?
No, not on PC.
Okay,
I am.
You're on the insider build. Okay, so like, so that reminds me of the time I downgraded my Xbox insider build because I was on the alpha and it like literally almost bricked my Xbox, and I was like, well, let me downgrade. After I got it back up and running, I was like, downgrade, never again. But I don't like it as much. It's more obtuse than the console companion app. It reminds me about how, like, you know how movie apps are so much better on computer, like they're better on PC than on other devices, on the mobile devices. And this app it's like the experience of being on like a mobile app that has dumb choices. The hell? Okay. I'm sorry. I just noticed the Steam updates for my I just noticed the Steam updates.
Oh my god.
I just noticed them. I'm like, that's what the hell was. I was like, why is it showing all these things? But I honestly, my problem with the I don't think I'll use it because Steam is a little more straightforward. As far as going to things, I literally just use the Xbox app mostly for gamepad. I admit I buy Play Anywhere. The game is Play Anywhere because I have a friend who's Xbox and I share game share with him, so I'll buy a game there that way. But my big thing is this is not a big deal for me because I'm not I don't care if I cared about one storefront, it's GOG. That's the one storefront I really care about. So
fair enough. And then lastly, Cozy, just so we can, like I said, I wanted to hit two topics at once. Layoffs going on at Microsoft.
I want to know where these layoffs are,
or continuing to go on.
I want to know where these layoffs are coming from. Because like, Xbox layoffs, if they're laying off from like the people that do all the physical games and like stuff like that, then I understand that. But if they're laying off from like, this team, that team, I am much more concerned because the only reason I actually care about really Xbox. I don't really care about Xbox. The only reason I care is like I am an Obsidian stan through and through. I am a golly Psychonauts dev.
Oh,
Double Fine?
Huh?
no.
Double Fine, yeah.
Double Fine, yeah.
Oh, it's Double
It's
Fine.
Psychonauts, yeah.
Psychonauts, Double Fine. They did what did they do? I want Broken Age.
They did Brutal Legend.
Brutal Legend.
Way
They
back.
broke Brutal Legend. They've just done I care about. Those are two of my favorite devs.
I think they're remastering Brutal Legends, actually.
That'd be amazing.
Because it was a horrible game when it came out, and it still doesn't.
I mean,
run
it ran. Well, yeah, it runs. I don't know what's wrong with it. It runs terribly, even on a Series X. It's just bad.
It runs terrible everywhere, even on PC.
Yeah.
But I think that was like the transition from Windows 7 and 8 to like 10 was hard. But I'm a fan of those studios, so I care about that. Like, but if they were like laying off from like just like teams that were like, we don't need that anymore, I'm less concerned. And I say this specifically as someone who has worked for large companies that just were like dumped people. Like I've been laid off from a large global company 4 times, from large global companies 4 times. So I feel for the people being laid off.
But shout out to something that you said earlier, Cozy. Shout out to something you said earlier, and actually, Nate put it in the chat earlier. He said there's a ton of people that brag all the time that they make 6 figures and do nothing for their company.
Absolutely. I see, like, at my I currently work for like a large company, and I see people that are like in positions where they make a lot of money, and I'm like, but you don't do shit. And I honestly feel like if you got rid of but no one, this is a problem with corporate culture, is not giving a fuck about getting rid of those people. And it sucks. But I'm going to say, if you're getting laid off from Microsoft, you got that money. You do. You get that money. I got laid off of a company that's like a eighth of the size of Microsoft. And you know what?
That's a big company.
It was a big company, and the severance was glorious. I literally could have not worked for 2 years. I got like stir crazy, so I did work, but I could have literally not worked for 2 years. And I actually kind of like in hindsight regret going back to work, because it's, you get laid off. I think a lot of people don't necessarily realize their options, especially white collar people don't realize their options when they get laid off. Because they're like, oh, I'm the brains. No, you've got options when you get laid off. You got choices. Like, when you get laid off, you collect that unemployment, them food stamps. You can literally get paid retraining for anything pretty much. I'm telling you.
Okay, Dorian Gray says something in the chat that I thought was interesting. I'm going to bring up here in just a little bit. But first, I wanted to hear what you had to say about the first piece of the topic, which is what's on the screen right now, that PlayStation PC games on Xbox. Yep, is what Tom Warren said, just talking more or less about Steam games being available on the Xbox PC app. Your thoughts on this and the direction that they're taking with it?
You're talking to a future forward gamer, so I'm going to say that current PlayStation is playing the current.
I was asking Cassie.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, my bad. No, like, to me, I think this is interesting. Like, it's cool that they're doing this, but GOG already does this. You know what I mean? Like, is this just surface level to try and get everything under one umbrella, which I think is a good first step, but I just think it's just a first step. Like, the everywhere initiative is an interesting idea, and I think that they need to do this because this is what they wanted to do. This is what they said, you know, they were leading to since before the series consoles even came out. I remember back in the day, they were just like, yeah, our goal is to be on like 1 billion people's fucking, you know, everything's. Like, forget just the console. They want to be on 1 billion people's televisions. So the Play Everywhere initiative to basically, you know, simplify an entire just conglomeration of everything. And I get that process. It's not an easy one, especially when you're trying to bring, you know, you're trying to bring like decades and decades worth of entertainment under your roof, and how to accommodate for every situation of that. Some of that is going to be compromising. Some of it's going to be only accessible through cloud gaming, I'm assuming, depending on what, you know, platform you're on. Like, there's going to be a lot of concessions, and honestly, what's scary is it might be confusing as fuck. And once it becomes confusing to the user, that's when people start to tune out. So that's my biggest concern with this, but this is a good start, at least having information, as much information under one roof as possible. That's a good beginning to something that I think is going to get extremely complicated, not just for Microsoft, but also for the user to have the experience that they want. So we'll see what happens, but this is definitely an interesting start. They're moving forward with their project.
Definitely a step forward, and there's still a lot to be kind of figured out, and what the benefit all completely is for a lot of different people. But secondary, obviously, you know, I asked Cozy, and she went off on it. Your thoughts on the whole layoff stuff happening and whatnot? I mean, sure, it's happening with Microsoft, and that's the biggest one because they're the biggest company of them all. But I mean, it's still happening industry wide. As much as people want to point the finger at the biggest company in the room, it's kind of like, don't forget that all these other companies are doing the exact same thing. But we're on the topic of Microsoft right now, so I want to stick with that in particular. Yeah. What are your thoughts with this whole layoff shenanigans that are going on under Microsoft's roof, particularly?
So I don't really try to, wine and dine the situation. I'll be the first to say I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm sorry, bro. No one cared when I got laid off from my job a couple of years ago. Nobody gave a fuck.
I feel that.
I didn't expect anybody to.
There was no Twitter posts.
Exactly. Nobody's gonna care even if I talk about it. So it's a waste of time talking about it. I gotta go find me another fucking job. That's just what that is. So, I'm not going to sit here and pretend to care. I mean, it sucks. Don't get me wrong. It's like, but it's not personal to me. As people only care when it's personal to them. If it was my mother, it'd be a different story, and I think anybody would be honest about that situation if they cared. There's a lot of fake caring that goes on in this industry, and a lot of it more so is used to try and punch down on other people. And I think that's the most lamest fucking bitch made stuff that I see going on. But the reality is that these companies came from this mega fucking high that was COVID, where everyone was locked in their house. It's not like that anymore. And now they're at the lowest low where their numbers is ass. Their numbers are ass, and to get people's attention is harder than ever because every company is fighting for everyone's attention now. And guess what? Cozy over there eating a watermelon. She's like, I don't give a fuck what you got to tell me. I'm enjoying this watermelon right now. That's it.
Preach.
Exactly. Like, and guess what? Nobody cares that these companies are suffering. Matter of fact, a lot of them honestly deserve it. And I think Microsoft has to take some L's in how they conduct themselves too. And it's not even, the problem is that it doesn't hurt Microsoft because, look, man, Phil Spencer didn't get fired. Homegirl ain't getting fired. I forget her name. I'm sorry. But the booty warrior, he ain't getting fired. So they don't give a fuck. Like this whole shit, none of them, until heads roll. Like look at the motherfucker at Warner Bros. This dude went from making over $20 fucking million to now he's making only $6 million. That's when heads start starts to change. Exactly. This dude missed out on how many millions of dollars? Now that's when stuff actually starts to matter. They don't have no problem just getting rid of all these
then they're
people.
feeling it, right? Then they're feeling it.
Exactly. And you know, it's just one of these things where we saw the highest of highs within 5 years, and now it's the lowest of lows because these companies, they're just they didn't know what it was to make content on a shoestring budget. They had all the money. They had all the money and they pissed it all away. And now they crying because guess what? All that money they pissed away, they're making slop content. And Xbox sometimes is guilty of this. And guess what? A whole lot of other companies are sometimes guilty of this. And the mass majority of other companies are one video game away from shitting the bed. And then they have the nerve to put out slop content when it's like, motherfucker, you're one game away from being on the balls of your ass. Like, it honestly, a lot of this shit is deserved. It honestly is. Stop making dog shit. Stop pissing away money like it grows on trees. Stop just saying, well, if it don't work out, we'll just raise prices. Well, go fuck yourself. I have no problem just ignoring your existence. I have no care for Xbox as a console. I don't give a fuck about PlayStation 5. This shit is ass to me. There is no return on it worthy of my investment. So if you're going to raise prices, it's so easy for me to say, all right, peace out, brother. You wanna not do physical media anymore on Nintendo? Well, guess what? I ain't buy a Switch 2. Guess what? I own 3 Switches. I will not buy a Switch 2. You want to put a bullshit ass screen on a Switch 2? Bro, you made it so easy for me to not have buyers, not have FOMO. You made it so easy to fuck around. You fucked around and found out. The same thing with Xbox. And I know it's the specific topic is Xbox, but there's so many examples in this industry of why all these companies are suffering, and they deserve it. And I think, honestly, as much as I want to see Xbox get on the right track because they control so much, they deserve to feel some suffering, bro. They have a lot of bullshit ass games that really come out. Like you said, no performance options until it goes to PlayStation. Why do I care to buy your game day one then? Why do I care when I play Avowed and that shit is a stuttering pile of dog shit? Why do I care to take you seriously? Because guess what? I can go to Steam right now. There's thousands upon thousands of games that are on sale right now. And guess what? Thousands of them I never even tried yet. It's so easy for me to say, well, fuck your new shit. Your new shit is kind of mid anyway, or it's not really drawing me in. There's so many classic games that I still need to go to.
Give us Viva Pinata!
Yo, bring all that shit back. I think a lot of Xbox's problems is honestly, they need to bring a lot of their 360 and OG Xbox titles to the PC platform that's viable without emulation. Like
Viva Pinata was
make some real fucking.
better.
Like, dude, you need to figure if you want Play Everywhere to work, you're going to have to suffer for it in ways that lead to an end game. You could fire all these people. You can get rid of entire fucking studios. There's no end game for this, though. You're not building anything. You're just destroying it. And sometimes some things need to be destroyed so you could build a better foundation. But I don't see that with this direction. You're saying you have all these ideas, but where's the end game? Where does that lead to? It's a pretty picture, but you ain't drawn that shit yet. It's all in theory. Your theories are cute, but how do you get to the finish line? I don't know what the fuck Microsoft is doing. It's just a mess. Now they're fixing their foundation, which is what they said that they were going to work on. Bro, they had to set aside their whole fucking console. It wasn't canceled from what I heard. They just had to put that aside because they need to fix Windows 11. Motherfucker, why wasn't that fixed from day one? What are y'all doing? Why is it that you need to suffer to do the right thing? I don't understand that. You could just do the right thing and benefit day one. You didn't need to say, hey, we're discontinuing Windows 10 to try and force people onto a new Windows that's somehow more garbage than 10. Why is it that you have to make me suffer in order to force me to do something that I don't want to do? That's Xbox's problem. That's Windows' problem. They need to start really understanding how to do things right the first fucking time. Not everything is in beta, motherfucker. Like, stop thinking every single thing is in beta when we get it. That has to stop right the fuck now. When we get it, it should be a finished product. They don't understand that. And that's their biggest problem, I think.
Yeah. Beta things are cool when you can enter it for free, right? But when you
Absolutely.
start to throw out products out there that I'm paying to use or paying to purchase and have, this ain't no fucking beta no more.
No.
No. And shout out to Husky Hokage. He just got up in here, and I wanted to give this to you real quick, Cassie. I'm not sure if y'all can hear that or not.
Big companies.
Here it is. Yeah. Let me hook her up with that right there. That was good.
Big
That was
companies
real
are
good.
always
That was real
like
good.
really
I liked
ishy.
it.
I want to see Xbox create great groundwork into the future because they can't. If they can't, then who can? They have all the money.
That's a
It's just they piss it all away. Crazy,
I
man.
totally think
Facts. All facts.
I think that
No receipts.
I think the direction that they're choosing is probably the best direction that they could have anymore. But it's just like at the end of the day, it's all about execution.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And that's been a problem for Xbox for generations.
Yep.
It's just like it's like they got a great idea, they throw it out there, they get everybody excited, and then as somebody was saying, I think it was Dorian Gray that said they're professional rake steppers. They just know how to step on the right rake just to make everybody say never mind.
That's crazy.
Just to make everybody say never mind. But Dayreezy with the $2 super chat says, "Fight the power. Cassie has entered the building." So Matt, you're last on this topic. So then we can start getting out of here. Thoughts on first and foremost what Tom Warren has on the screen here, talking about your Xbox or your Steam, GOG, whatever the hell the launcher is. The games are showing up in your Xbox app. Thoughts on that, and does that make you excited? Does that mean anything to you? Just go.
Does it make me excited? I mean, not. I would say it makes me excited. It's something that they probably should be doing, considering their whole what seems to be their goal at this point. This is something that they should be doing. I think Cassie mentioned it. Like, this is part of GOG. Like, there's things on PC that do this already. Like, so it's not a bad thing that they're doing this. This is good. I'll more than likely use it, especially on like the ROG Ally. I know the Ally comes with Armory Crate, but Armory Crate kind of stinks, to be real. But I'll use this for sure. I mean, like, especially if it's aggregating from all of my libraries, like they're saying, then yeah, I'll use it. Like, it's a good thing.
Okay. And then from there, obviously, here we go again. Layoffs.
Yeah.
Yep. Thought process going with that. Go.
Buddy, Microsoft already killed my favorite studio. They already took out Arcane Austin. They took him out. So it's like, and it's not to sound like, whatever, like, not cheering for people to lose their jobs or some shit, but like, they already did the thing I didn't want them to do. So like, whatever they do, I saw some people online talking like, oh, it's gonna be bad, could be whole studios closing. I saw Turn 10 was one of the rumored studios that's like gonna get hit pretty hard. It's like that sucks. That all sucks and everything, but like, you already killed any chance of Dishonored ever happening again. So like, for me personally, which is all I can speak for, I'm just sitting back and I'm gonna wait and see what happens. I'm gonna sit back and wait and see what happens. If people get laid off, that sucks, but also it could be a thing like what Cozy said earlier, where it's like they're focusing on teams that they really don't need, teams that aren't super important to their future plans that they seem to have at the moment. So again, when is this supposed to happen? Next week, starting next week, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll sit back over the weekend and see what plays out next week. But I don't have until we know exactly who's being affected by this, what teams, what divisions, how many of those teams and divisions. Like until we know all that, it's hard to really say, honestly.
Fair enough. Then I guess I'll go last on this, and I'll make it pretty brief. This whole PlayStation games on, the Xbox, PC, App Steam games, whatever games, Epic, Ubisoft, whatever the hell you want to call it. I think it's pretty cool. I like it, just because it kind of puts everything into one spot. I know other things use that GOG or whatever. I don't use those. I use Xbox app. So it helps me from the jump because that's where I'm using in navigating and getting to all of most of my games anywhere. And if that's the new thing that they're going to do is make those games, your Steam games and whatever, playable on the next piece of hardware, then this is just further making everything kind of go together and make sense. I'm already like we already know that, or I at least already know that Dune isn't coming to Xbox or PlayStation until next year. But if they have Steam on the next Xbox or whatever, then I don't have to sit around here and wait for the PC game to hit the consoles. It's already going to be on my next Xbox console. So that has me super duper excited to be able to play stuff that are going to be coming on the PC instead of having to wait for whatever optimization to happen or however the hell they're going to do it. It's still to be determined how they're going to do it. I'm not sure if they're going to be giving you access to it via the console and then you have to do it through cloud or something like that. Because if it's something like that, I'm I don't know about that. But all in all, I like it. I'm hoping that they then add some sort of Microsoft or Xbox rewards to it, since you're going to be using that app to navigate and get your games and turn them on from there. I'm wondering if that's going to be part of the rewards program that will help you, continuously earn some sort of fund to then be able to put it towards your next game purchase. I've always been a big fan of Xbox's reward program, even though it's been up and down and kind of all around, but it's more money than I've ever got from PlayStation. It's more money than I've ever got from Steam. So I'll take what I can get. I already, spent a little bit of money off of that earlier this month on Mind's Eye, which I ended up getting a refund for because that was ass. But that's the nice thing. I don't have to pay full price for certain things when I have that type of service available to give me back rewards. So I'm hoping that this whole integration further pushes the rewards and maybe that is one of the things that merges people over to using the app more, is because you get a little bit of kickback each time you use it or whatnot. But anyways, as for the whole layoffs side of it, obviously, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say the same thing I've said a ton of times, that it stinks and all that stuff, yada yada yada. But I just found it really interesting what Dorian Gray said a little over an hour ago. He said Microsoft took on over 20K workers with ABK. People know damn well those people can't stay. And I mean, a lot of redundancies and stuff like that. You would think some of that would got figured out kind of early off in the acquisition, but I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that kind of, carried over or continued, or they needed to finish a project or yada yada, or just kind of handing over the reins to somebody who needed training and yada yada. Who knows what it is? But like, no matter how you put it, 20K people losing their jobs is 20K people losing their jobs. That's a ton of people lose, or I mean, they obviously didn't say 20K people losing their jobs, but that's a lot of people nervous about losing their jobs, and that's just the people that they took on. That has nothing to do with the people that are already there.
Already there, yeah.
Right. So it's pretty scary. It's nerve-wracking. I mean, I really don't know what else to kind of think about it. I know that there's other companies doing the same thing. Either they're smaller or around the same size. I know Amazon and Google are both like getting rid of people by the droves and stuff like that. And a lot of this has to do with just the time and day that we're in. AI is starting to pull up and rule a lot of different shit. Nvidia is out there slanging them graphics cards, and people are workspace. We don't need you anymore. This new piece of device right here does everything that you did in 5 minutes. The whole last year you did, yeah, this thing did it in 2 days. So yeah, so like people are getting kicked, and it's sad, but it's kind of like this is the moment, you know, kind of like I've compared it to this in the past. It reminds me of when Activision figured out that when Activision got kicked from being able to put games on the Nintendo. It's like, are you going to keep trying? Or are you just going to give up? And now look at Activision. Nintendo's like, we'll take something if you guys got something for us. And I go, we'll give it to you if we want. Or if we got people to work on it or whatnot. Of course, they'll take that money from Nintendo. But it's just like, Activision didn't end up needing them. And I'm hoping some of these workers and whatnot, I know it's kind of a crazy analogy, but I'm hoping some of these workers can maybe take, oh man, these big companies are kind of figuring out and doing shit. And I've already worked with a company of this side. Maybe we should come together and make a development team of our own. I mean, we're starting to see it, but I really hope that it accelerates a little bit quicker. And then you don't have all these developers leaning on NetEase and Microsoft and PlayStation and what is it, like Tencent, Embracer Group and stuff like that. But it's going to be a while till we see that come to fruition, because we're going to have to, because AI and all this stuff is still in the process of actually even being functional for just your normal person. Big businesses can figure out how to fast track and hire people to get them in there, figure it out real quick, and then fire them and kick them out. But a lot of these small businesses got to ask their buddy that knows a buddy that knows a buddy if they could help them out getting something figured out. So it's going to take a while, but I hope the minority rise up and, you know, can show some of these big companies that they can play ball. I mean, we've seen it with Clair Obscur. So I want to see it with many other games. Maybe Dawn Walker might do the same. You don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna throw out this list that I wanted to speak on real quick, and then we're gonna get up out of here. Have everybody do their sign out real quick. It's gonna be really short and sweet. I did it last week. You can speak on it if you want to. You can speak on anything that I bring up if you want to, but you don't have to. I'm just kind of rambling this off because the man, the myth, the legend, Hasdor Gaming is always showing up to give us that weekly dose of recap for gaming news. So here's a little bit of stuff that he kind of found throughout the week that's been going on. He said Persona 4 Revival and Stranger Than Heaven to release in fiscal year 2027 or beyond, July 2026 via Sega fiscal report. Oh, Cassie, you got something to say?
I want to play Stranger Than Heaven like ASAP, man. Fuck.
I'm sorry. That
game
there's
looks
some
insane, bro.
There's some
That's like
stuff
the
for you
game.
right there. That game does look nuts, though, right? That's the dude with the sword, right?
No, that's the game that RGG Studios is doing, the Yakuza guys. Stranger Than Heaven is it's like a Yakuza game, but it's like totally like it takes place in like the 40s.
What game am I thinking of?
Yeah.
That game looks insane, bro.
I don't know
love
what game I'm thinking of with the sword.
Main character. Onimusha?
No. This I think I'm thinking of the China Project PlayStation. Which is totally different. But yeah, I'm seeing the Stranger in Heaven. This looks looks very Sega. Looks very Sega. That's cool though. Yeah. I know I want to play the Pirates.
The Yakuza Pirate game?
Yeah, the Yakuza Pirates one. That looked pretty sick.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. But continuing on, Studio Slow Clap confirms 3 million players for Rematch, which is that soccer game that they made. Came from the same people that brought you. Goddamn, why did I forget it right off the top of my head again? Damn it, Sifu. Damn, jeez Louise. Mafia: The Old Country has gone gold. Grove Street Games is working on an unannounced Unreal Engine 5 project. Square Enix, Yoshi P, hence Final Fantasy 16 for the Nintendo Switch. Splitgate 2 developer 1047 Games rough launch leads to layoffs. Man, that dude's been having a tough time over there at Splitgate ever since he wore that hat. Nothing's gone good.
Ever since he got on stage and just said, dude, are we watching that thing? I was like, I like his energy. I
did
energy.
Too.
But dude,
but it wasn't politically correct for a lot of people. So
it was.
I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't even think it's necessarily the hat. I mean, that's an excuse. But when you're like, "Hey, we're gonna make FPS great again," and it's like, "Oh, you boot up the game. Oh, there's a $70 fucking skin. Oh, a Portal skin is $30. Are you really doing that?"
It was the mix of, hey, plus they had this whole tease of like before that show of like, hey, we got something. It's gonna be huge. And everyone's like, whoa, they're bringing a campaign. They're bringing a campaign to Splitgate 2, and he's like, it's bigger than a campaign. And everybody's like, what the fuck's bigger than a campaign? It's a battle royale. Oh, you mean the thing that we've been doing for the last 10 fucking years?
Yeah.
Like, you're not revolutionizing. Like, you can make a different, you can have your own take on the battle royale. Cool, that's cute and everything. That's fun.
You can't say we're all tired of Call of Duty and then do that. Come on,
do a battle
man.
royale like that.
Exactly.
I love Splitgate, but you can't do that because that makes you look like an asshole.
Absolutely, I agree.
Man. Husky Hokage says FIFA plus Rocket League equals rematch. It does look very much like Rocket League the layout.
Oh, she ain't muted now.
Jeez.
Why did I say anything? Oh my god!
Shit made me. I felt that in my bones.
Was like that dude was.
I turned her down an hour and a half ago.
You know what? Drink bleach. But anyway,
damn.
My issue was like the way he was like, not just like, look at how great the thing we did was, but look how shitty everything else is. Like, if you're gonna leave with that, I automatically distrust you.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just think it is so tough. It is so tough to say we got something and to poster it like we've never seen it before.
Yep.
Come out on stage and then tell us Call of Duty ain't doing nothing new. We're tired of it. And we're all like, he's spitting. You're just kind of right. I'm feeling him. I'm liking it. And then he's like, now check out our new thing that's available now. It's a fucking battle royale. It's a fucking battle royale. Another fucking battle royale. I'm just like, and then Cassie, like, I was turned off immediately when they said battle royale. So I was done with it right when I heard that. But then Cassie had the audacity to come onto my platform, here, TSWS Gaming, and tell me that they're selling $70 skins.
They were.
In Splitgate.
Yep.
I don't care if they did it. It's somebody probably bought it, and you know what? I don't like it.
They did it, and they had to give refunds. They had to actually make a full statement and give refunds and cut prices. And it was only because somebody with a little, I forget who it was. It was somebody with a little bit of clout online within like that community made a video. It might have, you know who it was? I think it was Mint Blitz.
Was it Mint Blitz?
I'm pretty sure it was
the guy
Mint
I
Blitz,
interviewed just a few weeks ago.
Yes, because he made a video talking about Splitgate, and he said he made a post on Twitter about like, yo, why is there stuff in here for like $70-$80? Why is that a thing? And they're like, And like, oh, they passed the buck on it. Like, as some guy from Activision was here, and he was doing all the
Oh, here we go.
monetization and stuff. And
Pass the
this
buck to
isn't
somebody else. It's somebody else's
this.
problem. It's not ours.
Yeah, this slipped through the cracks. If we would have saw this, we'd have never let it happen. And then they're like, oh, we'll refund you guys and we'll fix it. It's like that. Bottom line is, it slipped through the cracks. Somebody did it.
I'm so fucking sick of people telling me about shit slipping through the cracks. When something is your fucking baby and you're proud of it, I still do it on videos that I onto YouTube. When I'm proud of something, I rewatch the whole motherfucking thing. I look at and make sure that I touched up the things that I wanted to touch up, did what I want to do, because I'm presenting this to people for the first fucking time.
Yeah.
So I'm tired of people using the excuse of, oh, I didn't realize that art was from somebody. It slipped through the cracks. Oh, I didn't realize I made that price this way. It slipped through the fucking cracks. Oh, I didn't realize the game broke after 20 hours. It slipped through the fucking cracks. How does this shit slip through the motherfucking cracks when this is supposed to be your baby?
Hamathy, you're one person, so you're going to be thorough. I work as someone who's worked for large companies. Guess what? They are not thorough. There's an entire thing about the company that I work for. There are 4
Not
shifts.
good enough, Cozy. Not good enough.
No, and I
Not
agree.
good enough.
I agree. There are 4 shifts. 2 of those shifts do absolute shit. Like, in fact, there was one shift that labeled everything good. They labeled like 80 items good to go. And then we individually scanned them. None of them were good to go. None of them. And we told this. We had pictures. We have the screenshots of everything. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that was bad. We'll tell their manager. Nothing came out of it. But this is like a regular thing. So the larger the company, the more shit actually, it doesn't slip through the cracks. It's the company just says, fuck it. And I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this.
Because that's how it feels.
because I see it on a daily basis. I am literally up. I was like, I worked some extra time on like one of the other shifts, the other good shift. And both of us are like, yeah, we don't know what the fuck is up with those 2 other shifts. Because not only they don't do nothing, they make work for us. So I'm telling you, it's not necessarily slip through the cracks, but the larger the company, the less efficiency, the more things that they just ignore. And so there are people that genuinely care, but then you still have that team over there that does shit all, fucks off, and makes more work for you. So you're like, what happened? And like, you only get to see the higher ups talking. You don't get to see the people that, are on their daily grind talking. And the people on their daily grind are like, we know what happened. Team C.
It's trash, Cozy, and it's still no matter how perfect the excuse, it's just not good enough. It doesn't matter.
It's not good enough, but they don't lay off Team C. They let Team C be the fuck ups for whatever reason. I can't explain it, but we all have a Team C, and we all say fuck Team C because Team C makes work for the rest of us. But you got
what up, Young Set on the beat? What up, Venomous Viper? What's cracking? Good to see you. Oh my goodness, he says he's hollering at me. He says GRG is back. Wants a month starting next month on the 11th. Okay, I might have to show out for that. It sounds pretty good. I need to get you on this show one of these times, Viper. I'd love to get you on here, bro. Whenever you got time, though, of course. But anyways, it says new look at the Blood of the Dawnwalker, which we watched earlier, pre-beta gameplay, Arc System Works showcase set for June 26th, which was yesterday, at 6 p.m. So you can go check that out probably on YouTube if you'd like. Mind's Eye build a Rocket Boy have reportedly started the layoff process, which I don't think anybody's surprised about that. That game is tragic. Death Stranding 2. All right, Cozy. Okay. Death Stranding 2 reviews 90 on Metacritic, which Matt can attest. A lot of people are loving that game. I think I've seen Dorian Gray saying that he doesn't fuck with PlayStation games, but that game is magnificent to him. So that's what's up.
Incredible.
Age of Empires, was it Age of Empires 4? Sold over 4 million copies.
Wow.
Dune Awakening, the game that I've been playing like exclusively for like, I don't know, ever since it came out, has hit 1 million sales on PC alone, which is awesome. That game, like I said, it's supposed to come out next year on PS5 and Xbox, but I mean, if it's only places available to play it is on PC, that's where I'm gonna be, and I don't know when I'm gonna stop. I honestly don't. The Xbox and Bethesda confirms they will be present at Gamescom 2025 from August 20th to 24th. THQ Nordic Digital Showcase 2025 set for August 1st, 12 p.m. Pacific time and 3 p.m. Eastern time. CD Projekt Red says they need more time to cook Cyberpunk 2077 update 2.3. Scope of update is similar to 2.2, if you're familiar with that. System Shock 2 25th anniversary remaster delayed on consoles. Sorry, Matt. MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition limited edition announced at $399. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Bloomberg, Microsoft plans major layoffs, which we talked about that just a moment ago. Rematch sold over 1 million copies and surpasses 2.5 million players across all platforms. And I know that game is on Game Pass as well, so that probably helped pump those numbers up. Krafton acquires Japanese ad company ADK for $517 million. Little Nightmare franchise has sold over 20 million copies. Little Nightmare 3 is slated for October 10th this year. And then it says Little Nightmares Enhanced Edition announced and will launch alongside Little Nightmares 3. Also included free with pre-order. Playable immediately. Square Enix recognized success of Clair Obscur. What it means to say is Square Enix is extremely jealous of Clair Obscur. That's all this says.
It means they're learning that they fucked up royally and they need to stop.
They can't do anything about that. The problem is Clair Obscur requires a dedication that Square Enix can't have, because Square Enix problem is they LARP as a big, as a big cared about experience. And I always say this, but you'll hear me say it again. Square Enix is basically your 16-year-old dog. You have fond memories of it in its youth. But now it's like a 16-year-old dog, blind, can't hold his bladder. And that's all it is now. And that's Square Enix's problem, is they refuse to accept that they are your 16-year-old dog.
All I have to say
like
is
they're your puppy.
All I have to say is let Dragon Quest 12 be a fucking action RPG game and see what I do to you, motherfucker. That's it.
It's not. So the biggest issue isn't that they're an action RPG game. The biggest issue is that they spend too much and aren't nearly as great as they need to take lessons from Atlas. Accept what you are.
Yeah. I felt
thinks it's like this AAA studio. Say thinks it has AAA studios that demand all this high budget, this big focus, all this major attention, and they aren't that. They think they're that still. This isn't 1996. No one gives a fuck about you.
Well, the thing is, Cozy, is like, and I've said this on K Mega's podcast over there, GRG I was just talking about just a little bit ago. Square Enix, back when they were like Square Soft and stuff like that, they were the the leader of change, and they made things new.
I absolutely
right?
agree.
As to now, we're reading this on the screen that says Square Enix recognizes success of Clair Obscur, which to me is saying Square Enix feels the need to try to copy them.
Exactly.
Or
That's the
try to
problem.
do something that they did instead of leading the charge themselves, which is what made them as great of a company as they are or should be.
Honestly, I think the
So, yeah.
problem is, yeah, like I loved, like old Square Enix was great when they were like but now they not only aren't they a shadow of themselves, they aren't able to adapt with the times. And people are like,
No
oh, but
doubt.
they create all these great smaller experiences. But they still act like they're the hot shit when they create even these smaller experiences. And no one's checking for them like that. It's not like, like a lot of people who are familiar with them will argue like turn-based versus, action. And I don't think that's the big problem. The problem is they aren't hot shit. And they still think they're hot shit. It's like, the same thing as like, imagine like some, big 80s musician was still acting that died off in the 90s and hasn't been relevant since, was still acting like they were hot shit. Square Enix's problem is that they're still had that attitude that they're hot shit because they were hot shit 30 years ago.
No doubt.
Look, man,
Nintendo.
like I don't think
go
that's
ahead.
the case. For me, it's like, dude, how long has the OG? How long has James Dean been dead? He died in a fucking car accident in 55. He's still the definition of cool to this day. Some things don't change. The thing is, they tried to change their image, and that don't work.
They tried to be a
everyone
follower.
knows what you're supposed to be, but you refuse to accept it. It's like in Lion King when fucking Simba runs away from his destiny, and he has to talk to his father, tell him, dude, you are nothing until you do what you know you're supposed to do. You're just running away from it. That's why you're stagnant. That's why you have no future. You have no focus. Like, they have no focus because they refuse to accept what they're supposed to be doing. And it's more than just the action RPG shit. It's a lot of different things. But Square Enix is stagnant because they refuse to accept what they're supposed to be, first and foremost, fundamentally.
I fundamentally agree with that too.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Nintendo Pictures credited for motion capture on Death Stranding 2, which is random. I wouldn't expect to hear that. Senua Saga Hellblade 2 enhanced with all new features launches August 12th. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Grand Theft Auto 6 is now available to wishlist on Xbox Series S and X. Night Dive Studios. Next project to be revealed at QuakeCon 2025 and will also be presented at Gamescom. Actor Jack Black to reprise his role as Officer Dick and take on new role in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4.
Oh, yeah.
Spartan Survivors, fan-made indie title, has been approved by Microsoft and Halo Studios. That's interesting. I bet it's going to be like
Vampire Survivors, but with
Survivors.
Yeah. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that's dope.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
I mean, they need to greenlight more shit like that for Halo, because Halo should be like Sonic and shit like that.
Halo should not have a game
a bunch of different games.
Halo needs to make a Reach era game where it's like a farming sim, but a depressing farming sim, where the things like gradually happen in Reach are happening in this, but you're just like a simple farmer just trying to like survive, but things just gradually get worse.
Keep a pistol on deck just in case
no, it'll be just like that, where like things are gradually turning to shit, but you're just like a farmer just trying, and it'll be like a cozy-ish farming sim, but things will gradually get less and less cozy until you die because
Because he's
obviously
like,
you
get
have
away from my rutabaga, you filthy elite.
No, that'll be what happens. It starts off with like the town, like 5 towns over, and then slowly like the next town over, and then slowly your neighbors, and you're just trying to like be like a farmer in this like depressing Halo Reach world.
Oh man, Viper has a good name for it. He says flood farming. How about that?
Yes, and no, but the thing is, I don't think people understand how quite well that would actually work. Like, Halo's problem is it didn't diversify. Like, it could have diversified. Like, there's all sorts of stories you can tell, all sorts of worlds you can create. But they're like, let's just keep it
Diversify your bonds.
like, wouldn't that be interesting to have like, a Reach world told from like the people that live there?
All right. So this is the last page right here. FTC sends refunds totaling more than 126 million to players of Fortnite players of Fortnite players. Seemed weird to read. Who were charged for unwanted purchases. That's good. Don't Nod Montreal hits layoffs. FCB. I thought it was FBC. Is it FCB?
FBC. It's FBC.
Okay. Yeah, he just put it in wrong. FBC Firebreak surpasses 1 million players across all platforms. Sega, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, and Sonic's X Shadows Generations are both selling well. System Shock 2 25th Anniversary Remastered, reviewed at 85 on Metacritic. Sagat, I think I said that right. Sagat coming to for Street Fighter 6 in August, which I guess 50 Cent's supposed to be in the new Street Fighter movie, which sounds hella wild and interesting, and I'm there for it. I'm there for it. Yes, right. Chris Avalon, former Quantic Dream lead writer, to join Republic Games to work on Golden Age of RPGs? Question mark. The Verge Tom Warren heard from sources that Turn 10 Studios behind Forza Motorsports is bracing for cuts. New look at Resident Evil Requiem and pragmatic gameplay Capcom's on Capcom Spotlight. And last is Steam Summer Sale is live until July 10th.
It's live
so
now.
For another what's that?
It's live now.
Yeah, just started yesterday.
I said it ends on July 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
nice.
And what is that, like just about 2 weeks? 2 weeks.
Plenty of time.
So Cassie, thank you for sparing some time. I wanted this to be 2 hours, and it always fucking, there's always somebody on the panel that wants to talk a lot. Sometimes it's me. Today it was Cozy, and I'm happy for it because sometimes Cozy don't say too much. So I was loving all the
sports and other weird shit that no one cares about.
Well, the good thing is, Cozy, we talked about that before you got.
I was there.
We talked about that before you got here.
I heard, and I was like just lurking in the background. I was like, I'll give you guys some time.
What do you think?
Yeah, there you go.
To do this off season, Cozy.
Shut up.
No, I don't think. All right. Anyways. Cult Classic Cage, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'll definitely invite you back once Loke gets he gets his feet back under him and gets shit figured out. But it was a pleasure as always. You kept it real as always. Please let everybody know where they can find you to continue on with your legacy on your channel.
Woo woo.
I appreciate y'all, man. It's always good hanging out with you guys. Always appreciate the invite. But I'm glad we could do it. But yeah, guys, real quick, you want to check out my YouTube channel? It's Cult Classic Cage on YouTube. I also recently been multi-streaming, so I normally do live streams Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I multi-stream on YouTube, Kick, or Rumble, whatever happens. Like, I try to give people options on where they want to watch, what we got going on. So you're always open to that. And if you want to keep up with my my slightly menacing tweets, you could always check me out on Twitter at Mario Kart. That's it, man. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can see the YouTube right down there. That in case you type it in, that's what you can come to expect to see right there.
Appreciate
But
you,
she's
dog.
always doing streams and stuff like that. She ain't new. She's been around for a hot minute doing her damn thing. I interviewed
Crazy,
her a
right?
few years back. And she's still doing her thing. It's awesome. Good to see you. Good to see you. Happy to have
Hell
you
yeah,
here
bro.
and can't wait to have you back. But Cozy, let everybody know where they can find you.
All right. You, as always, you can find me here, TSWS, on Fridays. You can also find me right after here, Getting Wasted with Wise. And then you can find me wherever you find Cozy Belugas. But I will be starting up a new series because I've been bored and I've been thinking about things, and this will be dedicated to cooking. I will be starting a series called Does It Bacon? So look forward to that.
Fire. Maybe
Does
I
it
might
bacon?
actually learn something
Nice.
because I can't cook for shit.
No. It's entirely about finding things that bacon doesn't work with.
I mean,
what?
that could be
Jesus
warning
Christ.
signs for me.
I thought this show was about finding things that bacon works with, and she's actively looking for things that
I'm
taste
looking
like
for the
shit.
nastiest things to put bacon into. Okay?
That's a waste
Actively
of
looking
bacon.
for,
And the thing is, I am very
actively
much
ruining bacon.
I am
Why would
very
you do
much
this?
anti-food waste.
She's
so
about to
I'm
be a
gonna-
Muslim god. She's just ruining bacon for everybody.
I'm actively
Let's go.
food waste. So the other part of this is I will be live eating everything I make, no matter how disgusting it is.
That's horrifying.
Yeah,
Stop
that's
it.
fun.
Anti-food waste. Anti-food
Stop
waste.
it.
Where are you doing that at?
Get some help.
I don't know yet. I've already started recording them.
I will 100% help you any way you need because that sounds fun.
I already have some disgusting stuff cooked up in the fridge.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that's
this will
good.
be fun.
Man, all right. Well, we better move on than that because that sounds nuts. But anyways, Matt, let everybody know where they can find you, brother.
You can find me cooking in the hot Ohio sun.
No shirt on, cooking bacon.
Feel like I'm dying. No, dude. Okay, yeah, it's hot. It's miserable. But you can find me on YouTube, Alex Games, videos every week, podcasts every week. Except for this last week, it's just been so damn hot. It's been too miserable to even want to do a podcast. But had fun today. You can normally find podcasts on my channel. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern is the two-player podcast with myself and Ham Solo. That's every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Did I say 2 p.m. Eastern? 8 p.m. Eastern. And then Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern is the L3R3 podcast with myself, Hard Days Mike, and it's me, Tuan. That's on my channel as well. And then Fridays, 4 p.m. Eastern, you can find me here for this show with these folks.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. It's your boy, Ham Solo, as usual, signing out from TSWS Gaming, letting you know, as usual, to keep it gaming or keep it moving. We'll see you guys next week. Deuces.
Peace.
See you.